What's up, guys? Welcome and thank you for being here with us on PS Best Friends on a very special Friday, episode 33 for the week of December 29th, 2017, the final show of 2017. Miguel didn't realize I changed that in the doc. As always, we are the PlayStation podcast by the community for the community. We come to you each and every Tuesday, usually, to give you the rundown on all the latest PlayStation news you could possibly need. This week, we've got the free plus games for January. Some Destiny 2 news leaked literally like 10 minutes ago. And also, we have a very special year in review discussion with YouTube's very own GameOverJesse, Jesse McCarty. And that, of course, we do discuss Sony and Nintendo's year in review, and then we mention Microsoft like once. Please don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating on your podcast app of choice. iTunes is going to ask for a review. However, instead, we want you to write in what you think your PlayStation Game of the Year is. So let us know that, and we'll read it next week when we do our top 5 games of the year each. And so let's get into it, because we're going to make this a little short, because our discussion with Jesse ran pretty long. So we're going to keep this a little short. As usual, I am Anthony Palm, your host. With us, we got the Brooklyn bad boy, Jeffrey Mizrahi.
It's cold out here.
Cold as balls. And Chicago's own prodigal son, Miguel Alvarez.
It's cold and it's snowing.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I was walking my dog and I walked by a car and it has snow on it. I'm like, it hasn't snowed in like a week.
That happened yesterday.
This guy
Kay
just
and I were
didn't move
driving
his
somewhere,
car.
and she's like, how do these people still have snow in their cars? It hasn't snowed in like 2 weeks.
I guess they leave it there. And then I was looking at the sign. I'm like, wait a minute, how is this not got towed?
Question for you guys: how cold is it? Like, what's the temperature?
I think the real feel for me was like 12 or 17 or something.
Like,
It was between like
Okay.
8 to 11 degrees in Connecticut today.
really? Because over here
Negative.
it was 5, and it felt like negative, like 17 or 18.
Yeah, 'cause
Well,
got the
you
wind.
live in the Windy City, so that wind chill's probably bringing it down.
It's not because of the wind, but all right, we're not getting into
Whatever,
politics.
man. I'm just trying to,
We're not
whatever.
getting into
Ah,
politics,
fuck it.
dude. Keep moving.
All right.
PlayStation.
Yeah,
PlayStation.
the politics of the cloud. But yeah, no, this week didn't play that much outside of the ordinary. More Assassin's Creed.
I
and
played a
such.
bunch of stuff.
But
Excited to talk
besides
about
game, I want to make a shout out to what I did get was my Movie Pass card, and I've already seen 2 movies in the past like 3 days. I had it. Shape of Water, Del Toro's new movie. I don't know how to pronounce his first name. You guys know? Is it
Guillermo
Guillermo or
del Toro.
Guillermo?
Yeah,
Shape
we
of Water
can't
really
roll our
cool, and I wanted to see Jumanji last night. We go, but since Movie Pass you have to be there and whatever, you can't reserve online. When we went there, it was sold out, which kind of sucked.
Really?
We audibled.
That
For
deters me
Jumanji?
from Movie Pass a little bit. Not gonna lie.
No, I mean the only time it ever is an issue in the freaking 7 days between Christmas and January 1st, where everyone's off, so everyone's free. You
True.
know. But Audible, we saw Greatest Showman. Woo wee! Hugh Jackman, Zac Efron,
Oh, that's
Zendaya.
the musical, right?
It's a musical about P.T. Barnum's circus. Holy shit. That is an amazing movie. I had no idea about this movie. I had no idea what it was. I saw Hugh Jackman was on the billboard. Fantastic. Could not agree more. Recommend that. Recommend Movie Pass. I've talked hot about GameFly. Me and Anthony, we always talk about GameFly here. Next level Movie Pass. $10 if you
So-
live near a movie
Yeah, all right.
theater.
So we're not getting sponsorships from them. So circling back to PlayStation, I played a bunch of stuff this week that I'm really excited to talk about, and you guys
Go
are
ahead.
gonna make fun of me for, and I don't give a flying fuck because I
VR.
played Skyrim VR, dope. Monster of the Deep Final Fantasy fishing game VR, dope as fuck. I played Resident Evil 7 in VR, awesome. I played Everybody's Golf. Has way too fucking long of an intro. Holy shit.
That's so fun. I didn't hear anyone else say that. That's so interesting that you
It's
that,
like,
that it does.
Maybe it's just because like my friend was there and we were trying to really get into it, like
Yeah.
a co-op. Maybe that's why. Maybe normally I wouldn't have noticed, but my friend was over and it literally like finished downloading when he walked through the door, and I was like, all right, let's jump in. And then it's like doing all this setup stuff.
That's the type of game that the first thing you see is single player, co-op, or like practice and like pick one. You know.
Yeah. And then I started Hellblade. Really enjoy Hellblade. I want to get through. I want to try and beat that tomorrow, but I at least want to have it beat by the end of before we record our next episode, because I want to figure out where that settles in my top games of the year. But I really enjoy that. And then I got a bunch of Switch games, but most of them are on both consoles, so I can talk about them on here without Miguel yelling at me. SteamWorld Dig 2 is very fun. I got FIFA 18 for Switch, and that's actually a good port of the game. Everyone was kind of bad-mouthing it. It's good. It's very good. I haven't noticed anything
It runs
really bad.
well.
Yeah, it runs well. And then there was I got
You
Picross
also
S,
missed.
which isn't a
You
PlayStation game.
bought Accounting Plus, which I've played. We have a Let's Play on YouTube, on our PS Best Friends YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's more gameplay than Let's Play, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
but yeah, that game that's another fun experience. I played more Rec Room. Paddleball's the game to play in Rec Room. But I enjoyed it more the second time than the first time. I think the first time I wasn't in the mood to play it, and that's why I was like,
They sent out an email. I bookmarked it where it's we're talking about the clubhouses they added. A list of the coolest clubhouses out there right now. Holy, like it's that Little Big Planet feeling where it's like, oh, I take these tools and I make shit. But
You said,
people,
didn't you say someone's doing like a Dungeons and Dragons lobby?
There's just that was just some dude playing. I don't think we haven't talked about this, right? Because it's been a while.
Not on air.
But yeah, no, I just jumped into a rec room and this dude was like drop in, drop out D&D, and I was like, and there was like dice you could pick
That's
up
so
and
cool.
stuff. It was really cool. But no, like so you could have whatever. Yeah, clubhouses are really cool. You could jump in anyone's. I'll forward you some cool. We'll check them out another time. But
Yeah, and we mentioned on our Facebook page, but we didn't bring it up in an episode itself. If you listen to the podcast and you have a PSVR or really any VR, because Rec Room is on any VR console. Is it a console, headset, peripheral? I don't know. If you have any VR headset, let us know. We want to try and put something together in Rec Room where we record it, and maybe not an episode proper, but something
discussion, a round table.
Yeah, something like that. So let us know if you have any way of playing Rec Room. Hit us up either at our email, psbestfriendspod@gmail.com, or hit us up on the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/psbestfriends. And Miguel, what have you been playing this past week?
So, let's see. I tried Resident Evil 7, the VR version. I actually started it playing that way, and let's just say that after like 15 minutes, I just couldn't take it. My head was just
like
pounding.
nauseousness was.
No, it wasn't even that. It's just my head, like the back of my head, and I started sweating so much. And
From being scared or from the VR?
no, from the VR.
Okay.
Like I don't get it because I wasn't like moving really fast. I was trying to move slowly for that reason. Because that's what happened when I tried the other rigs. That was my first.
Well, did
first
you
game
say you
that I
did
jumped
this in
into.
rigs?
Yeah.
Shaking your head violently for
Yeah.
the audio listeners.
It's a good game so far. I gotta keep playing.
Have you played non-VR?
Yes, that's how I kept playing the game.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know if
And
you
I got to
had
it.
played it again since that.
Yeah, and
Oh, yeah, we
I
talked
got-
about it, though.
I got Little Nightmares. Interesting game. Really interesting.
Yeah, that's one that
Really
was like
messed up.
genre is that? I see that everywhere. What
it was like on the edges of my radar when it came
It's
out.
like it's horror, and it's like a 2D side-scrolling
Oh, okay.
into 3D because there's some 3D stuff in there. It's interesting.
So you like it so far?
Yes, I want to keep playing. I think there's like 5 chapters. Looking at the trophies. I finished chapter 2. I haven't played it because I've been busy the last like 2 days. But I really want to finish that game before the year ends.
Nice. I think it might still be on sale by the time you're listening to this, if you're listening to this when it drops. Because I know there's some stuff on sale that's for like 2 weeks. There's some stuff that was on sale for 3 weeks, and then some stuff that ended this past like Tuesday. So, but go check it out. Maybe Miguel will do a let's play of it.
Oh.
Maybe.
I don't know if that.
I
has a word
mentioned it at
for
the end of the
let's play.
podcast for the other thing. If you're gonna bring that up.
What? PES? I got PES.
No, never mind.
Pro Evolution Soccer.
No, that's not
Better
what
than
I mentioned.
FIFA. Better than FIFA.
Is that
about
running
that.
on Fox
Come
Engine or
at
no?
me. Yes, it is.
Yes. Yep. It's running on
Wow.
Fox.
Does it look insane?
It's so fucking.
It's weird. It's
so
jarring.
good.
I played last year's
Fuck that.
PES,
They don't
and it
deserve
was on
it.
Fox, and it was like seeing like not Final. It was seeing like Metal Gear character models in FIFA. It was weird. It was really
Fuck
like
that.
It was
for
so-
me
it's so
specifically. It was jarring because I spent so much
And,
time in Phantom Pain.
It's
The
offensive.
gameplay wise is better than FIFA.
I don't know about that.
Coming in hot, though, off the presses of Facebook internet, Nathan W. Ulig asks, what did Santa bring you for Christmas? So I ended
go
up
ahead.
getting some money, which if I always, because at this point it's like, I'll just buy what I want and then like pay me back for it. But I guess technically I got enough money for the Destiny 2 Collector's Edition bag that I ended up selling the game to Nathaniel Hicks. Thank you for that, helping me out getting that, because then I'll just have an extra game. And I guess
Didn't
Battlefront
Amazon
2.
screw you over on that one?
Yeah, they said Amazon straight up sent me the collect.
That
I don't
was
wanna move
funny.
the camera. And I open up the first like layer of the thing, and the bag is just not in it. And it was clearly someone bought this thing, took the bag
it
out,
out,
and returned it. But they ended up hooking me up with a good one.
Nice.
What about you guys for Christmas?
All the games that I mentioned before were games that I got from Christmas money.
Can I spoil it for the kids
What?
Yeah,
about Santa
What?
Claus?
yeah. Spoil it.
Uh,
We have a
No, I'm not
7-year-old
gonna do that.
listening,
But just in case. I don't wanna. But
Shout out to all new listeners. Our last episode, our holiday episode, got a lot of listens. So if you're a new listener, thank you for listening.
it's the same thing.
And
as
write
you
in
guys,
if you're a new
gift
listener.
cards, and then you just buy PSN cards
yeah.
Yeah.
and get games.
And then I guess before we move on, Nathaniel Hicks also wrote hot off the press. Does PlayStation have a big one more thing for 2018? Do you mean, yeah, I guess 2018. Whether it's a big game reveal or the reveal of a release date, or maybe they have a hardware tease or some kind, or do you think they will just ride out the year since they seem to be already having the books?
So you're talking about 2017 or 2018?
I assume
I mean
18
2018 because
yeah, how I'm interpreting this question is
There's nothing left in 2017. If he's asking if they're gonna be like on New Year's Eve, here's a huge announcement.
No, I think
that's not
he's
happening.
saying, are they just gonna ride out? We have God of
what
War,
they have
Spider-Man,
announced so
Detroit,
far.
all these games
Okay.
coming out. Like, look how many exclusives, like,
Yeah.
and then just show more of them at E3
I
and
could
stuff.
see the big announcement being like Spyro remastered or name changes or something
Crash.
of that in that like a what's the word? Like
Megaton?
no, like what's the term where it's like crowd pleasing? Like
Crowd pleaser.
like
That
no,
works.
but there's like a term for it like
I think we all get
you know what I'm
what
saying? Yeah,
trying to say.
it'll be something like a PSX type thing. I don't think it's going to be any major
Something in
games
E3,
getting announced.
yeah.
I think it'll be
I think-
in the vein of
It's a tough question because we know what pretty much everyone's working on
I
right
got
now
one
with
for you
Ghost of
guys.
Tsushima. Is that what?
that was the real last big unknown, right?
Yeah, like what
Yeah.
could they announce? Naughty Dog, no, they're working on something. Guerrilla, they just
Insomniac's got
we're not
Spider-Man.
there's
Unless they acquire a new studio.
he
I
says
don't
maybe
see-
a
and maybe
hardware
Bloodborne,
tease.
maybe, but
I'm going there.
Yeah, what do you got on hardware?
E3 Beta 2.
no.
No?
No, that'd be insane.
Nope.
I mean,
Yeah, that would
okay,
my
here.
brain would ooze out my ears if that happened, but no.
Here, I see why you're saying no, but hear me out here. I'm not saying you could release the Beta 2 and take out the backtouch and actually release it with 2 triggers, and it plays
And
all
it'll
the
be
games that
Switch.
you play on the yeah, pretty much.
That'd be interesting. Some type of well, maybe.
I don't think they'll do it at this point. I think they're
And-
supporting. I think PSVR is their
Yeah.
not PS4 thing that they're supporting
'Cause-
right now.
If I had a little system like the Beta 2 or whatever, that I would be able to grab it and actually import my like save into it, like from the PS4 to the Beta, I would play a lot. Or like
Like if cross save was mandatory for games
Yes.
that are on both.
just transfer it.
Maybe that's
I mean-
a discussion we could have next year.
Maybe some new PS4 update. That'd be interesting. Like a 6.0. What are they on right now?
I'm sure the 5.
It's 5,
Like
yeah,
5
it's
point something.
5.
That's
Oh,
probably
boy.
gonna happen.
7 or
That's
something.
probably gonna happen. Most
Yep.
likely.
If you want to ask us,
should happen.
Thank you for those questions, guys. Nathaniel and Nathan. If you want to ask questions, facebook.com/group/psbestfriends or the
Yeah, and like I
1,000
said,
other
if you're a new
places we'll
listener,
say
speak
later.
up. We want to hear from you. We want to have your questions on the episode, all that good stuff. So,
I got a question
yeah,
for you
hit us
guys
up there.
before we get into the news. What's gonna come out first, Detroit or
I thought
Days Gone?
I thought you got made tea.
Yeah, it looks like an edible of some sort.
It's oatmeal, and I got the big ass cup.
Oh, you got the tea with you. Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Days Gone or Detroit first?
Which is gonna be
Ooh,
first.
good
See, originally I thought
question.
Days Gone was first. For some reason
That's
I
what
thought
I
Days
thought.
Gone was like a lock for early,
Like
March,
February?
March, April.
Around there.
Yeah, for some reason but now I'm hearing that it's a lot farther off than we thought. So now I think Detroit comes first.
I think Detroit.
Yeah,
Detroit,
now I think Detroit comes first. But like a
Detroit's
couple
just
months
been in
ago, I for
development
some reason
longer.
thought Days Gone was a lock sooner.
What was Ben's last thing? Golden Abyss?
Yeah, I think it was Golden Abyss was
Yeah.
their actual last thing. They
Oh,
might have
so
helped on other stuff, but yeah, that was their last
And
solo
Beyond Two
gig.
Souls came out in 13. I don't know. That's interesting. Good questions nonetheless. But let's move on for
The 2 news report, Islander report.
There'll be some news.
play the
And
soundbite
now it
twice.
is time for this is
Yeah.
a fucking mess.
Whatever. There are 2 items on the list.
A captain's gown.
I didn't even have it. First up, we have the plus games for January. We've been a little pissed off, or I've been at least. The plus games have been pretty light recently, but bada bing, bada
They've been
boom.
good.
January 2018 comes around, and we have Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. That came out
game.
last year. Batman Season 1, the Telltale series. Once again,
the reason
discouraging you from ever buying a
not
Telltale
buy-
game.
because I know
Telltale
season 2 will
games.
be on Plus eventually too.
Also, bonus VR game, Star Blood Arena on PSVR.
Glad to
and
see
then-
they're still putting VR games.
Yeah, that's cool. A new one. And I don't know how they pick these games, but Sacred 3 on PS3, The Book of Unwritten Tales 2, PS3, Psycho Pass Mandatory Happiness, PS Vita and PS4, Uncanny Valley, PS4 Vita and PS4, and some Warframe bundle pack, some like extra content. So that's cool. Any of you guys play Deus Ex? Mankind Divided?
I bought
I
it.
tried Human Revolution when it was a free Games of Gold on
that game's
Xbox
great,
One
dude.
360, and it was kind of weird. It was like the control scheme was kind of wonky for me, so I didn't really get into it. But my friend played Mankind Divided. He really liked it, so I'm willing to give it a shot.
It's really good.
I love stealth games, so
That's what I heard. I bought the game, never started it, and I traded it in because I had a bunch of games that I bought because they were on sale.
that's what happened
And-
with the
and it
Switch
sucks
Pro
'cause I
controller
know
bought,
it's-
that someone
it's-
just traded in unopened, and then I bought it.
I mean, I
used
opened
when
it.
it was new. Well, yeah,
But
that's the difference.
like sometimes I buy games and I don't even play them, and I'm like, I should just sell it because And
So you
I'm
think
glad
you'll-
we're getting it. I'm sure. I know it's really
You're gonna
good.
dabble with it?
So
I played the
wanna
first
jump in
few
it.
hours on PC. I really loved Human Revolution, but Mankind Divided didn't stick with me, and it must have been like the mood I
Time
was
and
in.
place thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna try it again, but we'll see. And Batman I've played already. Season 1 was great. Ran
I gotta
terrible.
still finish it. So
It makes no fucking sense how Telltale games still run terrible.
Did you get the bug with the floating eyes again, like in Assassin's Creed Unity?
I didn't get
I
that,
think it
but
was the last
literally in
chapter.
like episode
I think it was
2,
the last chapter I had. There was literally just characters with no face and just floating eyes.
possibly in episode 2, until the first checkpoint was running at 5 frames per second, and I was like shaking my head. I'm like,
Interesting.
fucking A guy.
So yeah, so those are the free plus games for January.
Yep.
But that's not next year. I mean, that is next year. That's not this year. You know what else is not this year? I know that was a terrible
Yeah, I don't even know what
segue.
that
I'm
means.
sorry. I don't know where I
next
was
up,
going
Destiny
with
2's new DLC has been leaked. Take it
Hot
with a grain
out of the
salt,
presses.
but also not take it with a grain of salt. It's probably true. It's called Gods of Mars.
I mean, it's probably true.
Yeah, it's almost 100%. It fits in line with what all the lore guys are saying in terms of what it's hinting at. There's no mention of a new raid, but there's going to be new cooperative activities, new enemy factions and bosses, and it's going to be taking place on Mars. What's extremely interesting about this, and almost laughable, is how it's going to focus on Charlemagne's Vault, which is another war mind. If you remember what Rasputin was in the first game, don't worry, war mind's the stupidest fucking thing. they're AIs, but they could move and
He's
stuff,
just
whatever.
babbling that. That's why I don't
This
even know
was straight up. This is straight up in Destiny 1. If you look at the Destiny,
it was supposed to be. You mean?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. If you look at the Wikia page for Charlemagne, there's 3 references for it, like where all the information's from, and it's from the Kotaku article that talks about Destiny's terrible development and how things got scrapped, and from an IGN article in 2013 about what Destiny 1 is going to be about. And same exact thing with Curse of Osiris. That story with Akora and Osiris was supposed to be in Destiny 1, as well as Charlemagne and Mars was supposed to be Destiny 1, and it's just crazy how like, oh, we need Destiny 2 DLC. How could we retrofit this into our new game? It is what it is. I'm just going to play it.
Tell us how you
best
feel.
Friends, your weekly Destiny
Tell us how you feel.
podcast.
Yeah,
quick.
Quick.
I'm actually kind of.
You got 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
I'm actually kind of excited for this. I think it's going to be fun. Hopefully, they could right the wrongs. Because what happened with Destiny 1's development in the past. So hopefully, this is going to be good.
So this is basically confirming that there will be a Taken King style big year 2 release, because this is doesn't sound like it's going to be adding anything revolutionary. It's just going to be adding some stuff.
I'll close it after this sentence, but the things we've all been saying, we as in the Destiny community, is like, we don't need a big update or something huge. Just fix small things. I don't know why you're not fixing small things. Why do I have missions in my ghost slots? Why isn't there a missions tag? Like, it's ridiculous. But that's about all the news we have this week.
Yeah, so as I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, we had a very long but very fun conversation with GameOverJesse, Jesse McCarty, and I want to say thank you again for joining us. So that's going to be up next, and that's also on his channel. Go check him out. He's got some really cool insight on some Nintendo stuff as well. He's mostly a Nintendo guy, but it seems like he dabbles a little bit in some other stuff. So go check that out. That's coming up right now. What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in to a very special discussion with the PS Best Friends, featuring YouTube's very own GameOverJesse. Jesse McCartney, what's going on, man?
Hi, glad to be here. It's the first podcast that I've been on in a while. Typically, I've been on a lot of friends' podcasts, but I know I reached out to you guys quite a while ago to be on, and finally able to do it. So happy to be here.
Thank you for being here with us. So just for the listeners, because this is going to go up on our channel as well as yours.
Yes.
The PS Best Friends podcast, it's myself, Anthony. We got Jeffrey underneath me. Well, actually, I don't know how the video is going to line up on his end. But there's Jeffrey and then Miguel. So we're a PlayStation podcast. We were inspired heavily by Kinda Funny's PS I Love You podcast, which used to be with Greg Miller and Colin Moriarty. And then we kind of evolved it, into our own thing over time. So we pretty much mostly talk about PlayStation. We'll dabble with, Nintendo and Xbox a little bit. But, we're a majority PlayStation podcast. And I think the reason kind of both of us wanted to get with, you and us is that you're, a Nintendo guy.
Yeah.
And so I thought it would be fun to do kind of a year in review of both Sony and Nintendo, because they both had huge years this year.
Yeah. So, well, first, so Jesse, introduced yourself to.
Similar to you guys, I was inspired by Greg and the people at Kinda Funny. Even my YouTube name, GameOverJesse, obviously, you can kind of see Game Over Greggy, the inspiration there. And I was looking for a username for my channel, and I was trying to think of what was inspiring me to start my channel, and then a username that people could see what it was and automatically assume what the channel would be about. Because if you see something that's like just a random name, then you won't necessarily know what the channel is about. So I thought it was a good way to like pay tribute, or however you want to say it, to Greg Miller, which I was lucky enough to actually have on my channel when it first started, and he gave it his approval and everything. So for the people, it's like, oh, he stole Game Over Greggy's name. No.
That's awesome.
I
didn't know that. That's dope.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I bet Greg, Kinda Funny, would love that. They have inspired two different channels or brands or whatever, and that they're like
we were talking before we started recording how you seem the stuff you do. My
Collaborating.
hamster in the background. Yeah. So your channel, you said you're more similar to the Gamescast, where you guys do the major topics. And our podcast is obviously more influenced by PS I Love You. So that's kind of cool that we kind of our podcast and you kind of getting together, both
Combining.
influenced by kind of.
Yeah, and that was the main reason that I reached out to you guys originally, was because I seen you all posting. I think it was in the Kind of Funny Facebook group, and I was like, oh, another like Kind of Funny best friends have their own.
Yeah,
podcast
our
going
name
on.
also heavily influenced by Kind of Funny.
It's funny how we tried to get approval from them, naming the podcast. What was it? PS.
We were gonna do
PS
We Love You originally,
and yeah, they shut that down really
And
quick.
because then they announced like a couple months later that they were using it.
Yeah,
for
it was
their
like
own
a
thing.
couple weeks later.
I think it was like a charity
Yeah.
thing or something like that. So.
See,
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to get Greg on my channel. It was before. Okay, I first asked him before anybody knew about the Kind of Funny guys leaving IGN. So there was like that weird week or two hiatus that they were talking about, where like they were still working there, but everybody knew they were going to be leaving. So he had a little moment of about a week to where he went on as many podcasts as he could to announce everybody like quitting IGN and stuff. And I was lucky enough for him to come on because I had asked him prior to whenever they left. And so I think I just got lucky when asking him. And then
That's awesome. Yeah, I know he stopped doing that for a while. Yeah, I mean, like like after that, like where he's like he doesn't have enough time to do
Yeah.
podcasts
They
anymore.
do a lot of crazy
Well,
shit.
I seen on their Patreon, it was like a month after I had him on, he or they updated something to where it's like if you paid or donated at a certain tier on Patreon, you could either come out and be on the show or have him or one of the other guys on your show. And I was looking at it and I was like, I got extremely lucky.
Yeah, you
Otherwise, I
really
would have
did.
had to
That's
pay
awesome.
like $200 or however much it was. So
And
That's
just
awesome, yeah.
real quick, just a side note, swearing or no swearing for your channel?
I usually don't, just
Okay, we'll
Make
try,
sure-
we'll
okay.
try and keep it down then, because
Yeah.
we do swear.
Yeah.
But
Especially me.
being Nintendo content, I can. That's why I asked, because I know Nintendo's
Well,
generally
it's
more
actually
and
if you become a brand ambassador for Nintendo, to where they send you out the games and stuff, one of their requirements is like on the reviews, you can't say any bad words because they want it
Okay.
to be PG.
Right,
But this isn't one of those. It's just I think it's like their policy on YouTube and everything's weird because they're like super strict. But
right,
'Cause
still
they're-
got friend codes.
Family friendly.
yeah,
All right.
So yeah, it's all good. So we'll just try and tone it down also. So yeah, so
That'd
let's
be an
get
interesting
into it.
discussion for some time. But yeah, let's do the year in review for both PlayStation and Nintendo. So what I have here is kind of just like a very basic guide for us, for what we're going to be talking about.
Okay,
What
first,
are we gonna go?
I do gotta say that we all own the Switch, right?
yes,
Yeah,
Yep.
And
we all have Switches. We all have. Do we all have Wii U's? Because that's how the year
Not
starts.
anymore.
I owned it.
The
and
Switch
I
is
sold it
the
after a
reason I
month.
don't have a Wii U anymore.
All right, so we all owned a Wii U's. I still own mine.
I do have a
assume Jesse
3DS.
Still has
Yes.
his.
Yeah.
I do own mine as well.
And of course, we all owned PlayStations. But yeah, so the beginning of the year started off on the tails of a couple things. PS4 Pro just came out, PSVR came out, and in December, Nintendo announced that they were going to have December, right? That they're having a Switch event in January. Got us all real hyped up. So January we started off with a lot of big Japanese games for PlayStation. We got Gravity Rush 2, Tales of Berseria, Yakuza 0, Resident Evil 7, and this is all while there were literally no Wii U games coming out. And the only two 3DS games we had were Dragon Quest 8 and Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World. And then we also had the Hitman remake, and so that was January. We could go past that, but what do you guys think? Just starting off out of the gate, PlayStation coming out with, here are some of the best Japanese games.
I'm gonna point out a January game you didn't say. At least I don't think you said, which was Resident Evil 7.
He said it.
Oh, you
I
did
said
say
it,
Resident
yeah.
Evil 7?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. I heard. I remember Yakuza and all that. So, Resident Evil 7 is in my top 5 for the year, and it might be higher up than you guys would think. So
Okay.
that game alone for January started the year off right for me. What do you guys think?
For me personally, I like Resident Evil 7's on like towards the top of my list specifically because it seems like one of the only games that did VR right. And it's not even a game built for VR specifically. You can play it on PC or whatever without having the VR unit, but the VR unit matches perfectly with it, which I think is a great achievement for Capcom because a lot of the games that are built specifically for VR still don't get it right. And this game was like half and half.
And it was great because it was really the first like major AAA game that supported PSVR. And I actually didn't get a PSVR until a lot later in the year, so I didn't have Resident Evil 7 anymore. I think I traded it in towards Horizon Zero Dawn. Regretfully, I wish I kept it. But so I have a PSVR now. I got it halfway through the year, I think, and I borrowed my friend Henry's copy. And so I didn't actually even try it in VR until very recently, and it kind of gave the game a whole new like reason to play through it. And it's I couldn't believe how awesome it was in VR. So that's cool. Do you have a PSVR?
I don't. I've played it, but I don't personally own one.
Okay.
I was actually meaning to buy one this holiday season while they were all on sale, but didn't get the opportunity.
Yeah, and that's an interesting title just because it's been a year now and it has not come to another platform, which we've seen most PSVR games.
Give it a month.
Or any
January is
right?
probably when the
it's right when the exclusivity is done. Yeah, so that was PlayStation's January. Nintendo nowhere to be seen. February walking into. We're continuing that trend of Japanese games, even bringing in some multi-platform hits. So you have Neo, For Honor.
For Honor was February. Wow, I thought it was like March for some reason.
Maybe we had Halo Wars 2 on Xbox. That's pretty cool. Horizon, of course. Horizon coming out February 28th. An interesting.
Oh my God!
It
came out the last.
Stop there.
Hey, here we
go. Horizon hit, right? And I think everyone was just loving it and forgot about Zelda until it actually hit. And then everything's just switched from Horizon like in a split second to Zelda. I think that's really funny how that happened.
I mean, what I was seeing also was, and even me personally, was people not buying Horizon because they had to save up money. Because like normally you wouldn't see people like not buying a game to save up money, but like in the case of having to buy a console, yeah, that's gonna stop a game purchase.
So what do we? So Zelda, what was the exact date for Zelda? Was it like March 8th?
March 3rd.
March 3rd.
So then,
because they do February releases.
Then right after February,
Friday.
we had March, one of the craziest months ever for gaming. For like, because it was when you think about the Switch's launch. Now
we had a console launch in March. That alone is awesome.
Yeah,
it's usually later in the year, or it's usually like at the tail end of the summer. So a console launch alone in March was cool, and then the Switch turned out to be awesome. So, because I was very hesitant, I was like, I don't know if I should get it. Maybe I should wait until Mario Odyssey. And then my best friend got one, and I was like, I want one.
Because remember, there was only 4 retail games that came out. We had Zelda, Bomberman 1, 2, and Just Dance.
Yeah, because ARMS wasn't out yet. Mario Kart wasn't out yet. We looked back and we're like, yeah, those games definitely came out at launch, and they didn't. So
yeah, wasn't there the Street Fighter game that came out during launch?
That came out, I think, a little later.
Yeah, because I remember that came out right around when my friend Henry from work got his Switch.
That came out this summer. But yeah, unprecedented really seeing a console launch with such light content and light on like quantity,
amount,
but in quality, ridiculous.
Yeah.
So what do we think? So, okay, so I'm just gonna say it right now. On our podcast, we've had a bunch of discussions, more just kind of yelling at each other because we're uncivilized.
It's impossible. You can't.
Of us saying whether or not Horizon Zero Dawn or Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is the game of the year. And so Miguel is hardcore Horizon, Jeffrey is hardcore Zelda. I fall on the Horizon side but see the argument for Zelda. So I'm going to just go ahead and guess that you're going to say that Zelda is the game of the year over Horizon.
Yeah. With Horizon, I usually joke around, as I guess many people do, that it's the best Zelda game on the PlayStation 4. because
That's good. I never even thought about that. That's a
yeah,
good one.
like in both games, he plays the hero who uses the bow and arrow. There's giant mechanical beasts like walking around the world, and it's a giant open world game. So there's a lot of similarities there. So whenever my little brother, I was trying to show him Horizon, and he was asking what it was about, and then I was like, it's basically Zelda with an adult female instead of Link, and yeah.
Funny thing, every time until like probably like a couple years ago, I always thought Zelda was Link for whatever reason.
Oh no. Oh no.
I always
I didn't
thought
know
that,
this.
dude.
The thing is, I never had
I'm like,
that because
I hear everyone talking like Link, like you plays Link. I'm like, so who's Zelda?
I never had that
then
because
I'm
my
like, oh,
exposure initially, because I'm much younger than all y'all, was Smash Bros. So it's like it says
that's
Link
true, 'cause
right
you
there.
are a lot
Why
younger.
would it be anything else? But
Another
yeah,
hot
no,
take, real
the-
quick.
what-
A better Zelda on the PS4, Oceanhorn.
Well, that's just a Zelda ripoff.
That's a different Zelda.
That's
It's
not
better.
even. That's. I couldn't believe they didn't get sued when that game originally came out on iOS. But anyways, just to digress
Either way,
a
yeah,
little
the
bit.
comparison's definitely there. They both have their strengths and weaknesses. But you know, it's crazy how
here,
they came out 5 days. I don't think
it's so awesome that we got
has that
those
ever
two
happened
great
where
games
two
right next to
different
each other
exclusives were the same game. You know,
I'm
like
sure it
for different
has,
consoles.
man.
Yeah.
I'm sure it has probably.
the closest thing I could
past.
think would be like a Resistance versus Halo, maybe.
And that's not even. I don't.
And
think
they
that
didn't
argument
come out the
even
same
come
time,
closest to
'cause
touching it though.
Resistance
Quest-
was 6 and 8. Yeah.
I
I
got a
remember
question for
a
you,
lot of-
Jesse.
Oh yeah.
Oh, go ahead, and
I was gonna say the only thing that I can really remember is like if Forza comes out on the same day as like Need for Speed or Gran
Gran
Turismo,
Turismo, yeah.
or back when Skyward Sword for the Wii came out, around that same time Skyrim came out for all of the other systems.
Oh, that's a good one.
And there was a lot of people comparing Skyrim with Skyward Sword, and there was even the thing where they both start with Sky. So
Yeah, I totally forgot the Skyward Sword did come out right around then. Wow, 2011 was so long ago. My
But
God.
that was such a Miguel. You had something else?
Yeah. What do you like about Zelda?
uh,
Like, what grabs you from it?
it's
And what puts you in?
there's so many different answers I could give you. The first one would be it was just A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo was the first video game that I remember playing when I was like 3 years old or however old I was. And then when Ocarina of Time came out, that was when I got my Nintendo 64. It was one of the few games that I would come home from school and play every single day. So I just got attached to the world. And then when Majora's Mask came out, it continued. And then with Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, everything, it just continues. And another thing that sets the Zelda series apart from like Uncharted or any other franchise is each Zelda game, or most of the Zelda games on their own, look completely different from one another. Like Wind Waker has the cartoon art style, Twilight Princess had a realistic art style for the time. Skyward Sword looked like a painting, Breath of the Wild looks almost like an anime. So there's all of these different styles and stuff that, even though it's Link and Zelda, Ganondorf, all of the similar
So
characters.
it's always finding a way to make itself fresh, even if
Right.
it's using similar themes. It's interesting with Zelda because, for me, growing up, Ocarina of Time was like the Zelda for me. Like that's the one that I was like, whoa, like this is totally changing games for me. As far as like the adventure games go, Mario 64, I think was really the game that showed me what games can be from an open world sense and like it has all the hub worlds and all that. But for me, Zelda, outside of Ocarina of Time, was always a 2D franchise for me. I always thought of it, Oracle of Seasons and Ages for Game Boy. Those were like two of my favorite Zeldas growing up. I remember when you beat both of them, you were able to link them together for the third ending where you actually fight Ganon. And I remember playing Link's Awakening for Game Boy and stealing the thing from the shop, and then you weren't allowed back in. And so that's an interesting thing about Zelda that doesn't really get brought up as much as you would think it would. That it's kind of got two different I don't want to say universes because I don't even want to get into the continuity of Zelda. Maybe you can enlighten us on that because I can't. But it's cool because there's the 3D Zeldas and the 2D Zeldas, and the original, the Legend of Zelda for NES is kind of both of those types of games in one, and you can kind of see where they split off between where they were going with one and where with the other. And I thought that it was really potent when they showed that 2D Breath of the Wild concept art or whatever that was, the proof of concept or whatever. And it really is interesting how Zelda can be a 2D franchise or a 3D franchise, and it excels in both. So I like that about Zelda a lot.
And just a last note on that, it's interesting, not really from the franchise, but from the developer. We're talking about, Zelda redoing itself every time. And then Guerrilla coming from Killzone, going to Horizon, a different step for them. But
you were a big Killzone fan too. How did you feel when you heard Guerrilla Games taking your favorite shooter franchise of the PS3 era was going in a totally different third person direction, robot dinosaurs, all that stuff?
You're talking to me, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm blanking on what my original impressions of Horizon were. I'm pretty sure it was like, okay, this is cool, because I was disappointed by Shadowfall, so I'm like, you know what, they need a break.
Really?
Killzone Shadowfall.
Okay.
But
I thought Shadowfall kind of ran butt.
Yeah. I would like to see another Killzone though in the future. As much as people want another Horizon, I want them to get back to Killzone and with the server shutting down. Yeah. But either way, the beginning of March was insane, and the rest of the March brought some disappointments.
Before we move on, real quick, I want to ask Jesse, for you, what was it like in January, February, kind of gearing up for the Switch launch? Because like Jeffrey said, there wasn't really too much coming out for Wii U. I don't remember what was going on with 3DS. I remember there was the impending Pokemon Gold and Silver. I don't know if that was after that. I think that was later in the year, right? That was like the summer. So what was kind of that gearing up for the Switch launch like for you?
For me, it was really stressful and a lot of work because my job is actually what I do on my YouTube channel. I'm lucky enough to where I am able to make enough from it to where it's my actual job. So with that, whenever a new piece of news comes out or a new trailer, whatever, for the Switch or Breath of the Wild, you want to have one of the first videos up talking about it, but you also want to make it as informational as possible, because if you just have the first video up and you don't really say anything interesting, people are just going to click off of it. So you want it to be as informational as possible while trying to hurry and get it up as fast as you can. That way you can get the views and the subscribers and everything that comes along with it. So every time there was a piece of news that would come out, it was just a race for me to be like, okay, how can I make a video about this? And where every week there was new stuff coming out, it was just harder and harder to decide like what news I should talk about and what news I shouldn't. So that's really what it was mostly like for me.
Yeah, that's really interesting for me because obviously, me just coming from a fan perspective, I was just kind of like staying off the grid with Nintendo at the time. I was kind of like, let's just wait until March and kind of, worrying about all the PlayStation games that were coming out, like with Nier Automata and Neo and all that stuff. And so it's interesting to hear, that you are actually doing this for your job. And it's the polar opposite of me where I was kind of like, I'm going to chill on it. And you're like really busy with it. So that's really cool. I never even thought of that. So did cool.
February have a lot of announcements and stuff and information? I remember it being kind of...
there was a lot of interviews that came out. Like, it wasn't a Nintendo Direct or anything that big. It was just like some random magazine or website would just have a...
So you were like actually doing kind of journalism,
kind
of digging for stuff.
The bad parts were you wanted to stay as spoiler free as possible, so you didn't ruin the game for yourself, but you still want to get as much information as possible. So there's a fine line to where it's like reading an interview or something, you may come across something that you necessarily didn't want to know. So
yeah. And what's interesting about that also, though, not on Zelda but on the Switch, they didn't specify the finale, the details of online until like the last week of February, right? Was it? I'm pretty sure.
I'm not really sure
remember.
about that.
Was it earlier?
Well, because were there any online multiplayer games at launch, or was
No.
Splatoon really the first big one?
Bomberman,
Or Mario
Bomberman,
Kart?
and Fast RMX. Now there were
Bomberman,
a couple.
I don't know if Fast RMX is online, is it?
Either way, Switch had a awesome year. Let's keep moving on. The rest of the March was kind of disappointing. Was both disappointing and exciting, with Mass Effect Andromeda kind of crapping the
Yeah,
bed.
we'll
You
talk
had,
about that a lot more on our podcast.
Then
but
Wirelands came out at the end of
Yeah, and then
March.
a lot of surprises. Wildlands being
Wildlands.
much better than I thought it was going to be,
This year was
and
so
Nier
front-loaded.
Automata, many people's game of the years.
Neo
I don't
too.
know.
Yep.
Neo, yeah, that's February. But that was March, and we didn't see anything else on the Switch for like a
Till
couple
Mario
weeks.
Mario Kart was April.
Yeah, so that goes on. We see Mario Sports, Superstars on 3DS. Stardew Valley started coming to PS4. That was really cool.
Yeah, I waited for the Switch version, which we'll get to.
Yeah. Then April, really, more games, but April, Persona 5 was
Yep.
April
Yep,
April
one of the big
3rd,
hitters.
a game that we love to see on Switch, but didn't come out. It's exclusive. Ukulele as well, that ended up coming to Switch, I think, right?
Yeah,
Or-
just
like
recently.
September or October, I think.
and the Batman.
The big one in April was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, right? That's
For
the
me,
day
for
that
me,
I
yeah.
yeah.
Outside
and,
of Persona.
That's
that was on the next
when
page.
I got my Switch. I went to the store. I'm like, oh, you guys have one. Let me get it.
Like in anticipation of Mario Kart.
Yeah, I just went in there just to see if they had them.
Oh yeah, you have to remember, March Switches were impossible to find.
Yep.
They were impossible to
Were
find
you
for a
able to
while.
get it when it launched, Jesse?
Yeah, there's actually a small story about how I got my Switch. I pre-ordered from Amazon, and it was like 2 days before it was supposed to ship. I went back and checked it, and it said that it would ship on March 3rd. It would ship out, which was supposed to
Okay.
be the day I was getting it. So I called and was like incredibly frantic and trying to get them to correct the situation.
Right, because that's
They-
money for you, really.
Yeah, and they ended up like giving me like a free 1 day shipping or whatever. That way it would get
Nice.
there on the day it was supposed to. So that was
Yeah, that's why I pre-ordered from GameStop and Amazon just to.
Yeah, I've told my
Amazon.
Switch purchase story a million times on our podcast, but the short version is I decided I wanted one last second on launch day. My best friend knew the manager at the local Best Buy, and he told her to let him know if they get any. She called him, said, "Hey, we just got one returned unopened. Get down here right now." And then
Who
10
would
minutes later, he
return?
said, "Hey, Venmo me $300."
Nice.
Yes, I mean, and then Puyo Puyo Tetris, I enjoyed on the 24th.
Oh, that did have online. That was Puyo Puyo
Yeah.
Tetris is fun.
So yeah, between like the launch and the last week of April, we didn't see much on the Switch, and that's kind of where Persona and those other games came in. But now let's move on to May. PlayStation and Xbox are seeing Prey, Injustice 2, Farpoint was great. 3DS then got Fire Emblem Echoes. Disgaea 5 came out on Switch. Ultra Street Fighter 2 came out on Switch.
Oh, Fire Emblem. What was the iPhone one?
Heroes.
Fire
Yeah,
Emblem
that came out
Heroes,
awesome.
That's what I was thinking.
yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, any comments on May, or should I keep moving?
Just a real question, just to backtrack. Oh, you go first, and then I'll ask. I have a question for you, but go first.
I was gonna say Injustice is really the only game that kind of stands out for that month for me,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of people that were talking about a fighting game, which people normally don't do. So
Because yeah, that had a production quality that was really good. Like it looked.
It
beautiful.
stood out among the other fighters of
Yeah.
the year.
yeah,
So,
And then you had a question.
yeah, for you, Jesse, just to kind of circle back to Mario Kart 8 real quick. How do you feel about like the Wii U ports coming to Switch? Do you have a problem with it? Do you like it? Because I know there's the opinion. There's the people that are like these games were stranded on Wii U, and then there's the other people that are saying, "Oh, Switch is just a Wii U port machine." So where do you kind of stand on that?
the way that I see it is if these games weren't coming to the Switch, that were like just the ports from the Wii U, then it's like you're either going to get Zelda and then Mario Kingdom Battle with ARMS, or you're going to get Splatoon 2, which people said was more like the same thing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was instead of an actual sequel. So you get the ports in addition to the new games. It's not like because you're getting the port, you're not getting this other game.
That's kind of where I stand on it too. I was happy to get Mario Kart 8 because, like I said, I sold my Wii U when I got my Switch, so I couldn't play Mario Kart anymore. So I was happy to have it on Switch. And surprisingly, I actually liked playing with the split Joy-Cons. My wife and I would play, and we only had the Joy-Cons that came with it at launch. I have the Pro Controller now that I just bought the other day, but I only had the Joy-Cons, and my wife and I were playing together with the split ones, and we actually really liked it. I thought it was going to be way clunkier than it ended up being.
Yeah, the thing about that is, as long as we're still getting, as long as it's for the first year or year and a half, I'm okay with it. I don't want to see like 3 years from now, Wii U port is going to be replacing a Switch version of that game. So like,
I mean, I want to see Wind Waker HD on Switch, but that's
personally, I would like to see not just Wii U ports, but 3DS ports as well, because games like A Link Between Worlds or the new Metroid Samus Returns would look great in HD on the Switch.
That Bravely Default, although we're getting Project Octopath, which is basically a spiritual successor to that. So
yeah, I mean that was kind of a thing. I mean we're even seeing it through now with Mario Party Top 100, but like in May, like we're still getting 3DS games while the Switch is out. But moving on to June, and speaking of fighters, we have Tekken 7 coming out, Wipeout Collection, Darksiders 1 remastered on the Wii U. Wii U still getting some love.
Definitive Edition.
The War Mastered.
Darksiders 2 is the Definitive. I hate trying to say that.
And so pretty much following a path of having one big game a month, March being Zelda, April being Mario Kart. I think May we had Minecraft, or I think May we might have missed it. But then every month after this, we had in June, we had ARMS, brand new IP for Nintendo. That was really cool. A lot of people love that. I don't know, are people still playing that? Are you still playing ARMS, Jesse?
Not really. I did a review of it. I was lucky enough to get the game a week or two early, and in my review, I basically end it with ARMS would be a great game for $40. Yeah. I don't think it's worth the full price of $60, especially when it's going up against some of the other games that are on Switch now, like Doom or Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey. I can't imagine someone going in with $60 or $70 to spend and picking ARMS instead of these other games. So
now compared to Splatoon 2, because I didn't play ARMS, but I did play Splatoon 2. Is it kind of the same as far as the amount of content in it? Because I heard it was very light on content, but I feel like Splatoon 2 seems light, but then once you actually get into it, you're playing the same thing over and over again, and it feels, very full.
And they're both adding content with updates.
Yeah, Splatoon's always adding updates. It's crazy.
Yeah, Splatoon, with all of the updates that it's gotten now, there's a few things that make it different and stand out from the original. Like there's new modes and stuff. They've recently brought back a couple of the levels that were in the original for the Switch version. I guess some of the fan favorites. So it runs a little bit smoother. You don't need to have 2 screens to play it. So it's definitely enough to stand out as opposed to just being like a port, because there was a lot of people that said instead of a sequel, it felt more like a port that just had a few bonus stuff with it. So
moving on to the end of June, we had a Crash Bandicoot remake, which I still think is going to be ported over to other consoles.
I think I could see Xbox. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. This might be one of those ones where it's like it was never confirmed it's exclusive, and then it just never goes. I could see.
Does Activision have anything on the Switch? Think about it. Let us know.
I don't know. There's no Call of Duty, and that's the biggest one.
Yeah, they don't make a lot of games, by the way.
Diablo 3 would be so good on Switch, man.
Skylanders, they stopped making. So now moving on to July. This used to be a time that was void of games, but as you know from listening to PS Best Friends this whole year, we had a couple good games. Splatoon 2 came out.
My wife's favorite Switch
game. We kind of just talked about that. But then also interesting, we had back-to-back on the same day 3DS games because the new 2DS came out with Hey Pikmin and Miitopia. Those weren't the best, most well received. I played the demos for them. Jesse, thoughts on those? Were they good?
Yeah, I didn't really play either of them. Pikmin on the Wii U and the GameCube were fun whenever they first came out, but a 2D Pikmin, if I'm going to play a 2D platforming game, then I'll just play Mario or something.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Good point. Yeah, right. Odd game to make 2D. Doesn't really make sense to me. Moving on to August now, we had some bummers with Agents of Mayhem, but then some top-notch games with Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. We all love that here. Pretty sure it's on all of our top fives. Jesse, you jumped into that?
I played it a little bit. I think it's a great way to see how if Last of Us 2 comes out and then has DLC, this may be a hint at what to expect for that game. So I think it was a great look at what to expect for future games from Naughty Dog.
That's a good thought. It was the Naughty Dog kind of quote unquote B team showing that they can make a legit game too. So
Yeah.
it's really cool, and it's a good kind of entry point for people that haven't played other Uncharted games. Obviously, there's nods to major Uncharted events, but you can kind of play Lost Legacy without, having played 1 through 4 or Golden Abyss.
And then what came out literally a week later, Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle. A very interesting game. That has a very cool history in terms of leaked and how that came out. But I heavily enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'd put it on like a top 15 list of this year.
I thought it was funny that Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle was like the one leaked game everybody was saying wasn't a real leak because it just seemed too out there to believe. And then
People
when
didn't want it originally when they
Yeah.
heard the idea of it before we knew it was kind of an XCOM type game.
People
were
were
like,
being
"We don't
really
want this."
negative
Like,
about it.
Yeah, and then it came out, and it totally caught
Unfairly.
everyone by surprise. I've been dabbling with it lately. I just recently picked it up.
I
did
actually
pick it up
really,
in the
really
end.
enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. I thought it was really great. It's easy enough, the strategy wise, for little kids to play and not have to think too hard about it. But there's enough to it that you can really get in depth on the battle system and strategies. So it's a really great game for people who may not have played games like XCOM before. So,
Yeah, and
Which
I
also
always
came out
forget
that
it's a
day, the
Ubisoft
XCOM
game,
2
too.
the XCOM 2 expansion.
Yeah, I heard that was very good too. I didn't realize that's like a legit, like almost like an MMO sized expansion.
Yeah,
It's like
oh,
it's like
no,
a
that's huge.
$50 expansion, so that's good on them.
And then, of course, that same day also, a lot of games came out that day. Everybody's Golf on the PlayStation 4 system, which I know Anthony just picked up. He's really enjoying that.
Yeah, with the longest intro ever. Oh my goodness.
Really?
Is it? That's
Yeah.
such a turn
It's like
I
that
hate-
that stereotypical Eastern like millions of amounts of text intro. But it's like I just want to play some golf. Like I don't remember
It's like,
Hot Shots
actually, that
golf being like
sucks.
that.
That's so.
But once you get past it, it's the newest. It's basically a new Hot Shots golf. So
My uncle
and then-
actually just won, who doesn't really play that much games, won an Xbox One, the Forza bundle, Forza Horizon bundle, and he
Does
just
your uncle
put
work
it
for
up.
Nintendo?
No, he just set it up
sorry, Ed.
just to use it as a media thing. And then I'm like, oh wait, what you want it? Like, what you get with these? Like, some racing game. I'm like, oh, you have because he has a 8-year-old kid, I think. I'm like, oh, you should play the Hot Wheels thing. And then thinking in my head, wait a minute, there's a 2-hour tutorial. I don't think either of you guys are gonna want to play. He's like, oh, can I just skip it to get to the Hot Wheels? I'm like, no, you have to play the tutorial.
So, and then before we move on from August, the game that was supposed to come out in August and then got delayed was Shadow of War. And I feel like August would have been so perfect for that game. And then it got delayed. Got delayed to October, right?
Yeah.
And I think that buried that game. I think it came out, people enjoyed it, and then they moved on real quick because a lot of other big games came out immediately afterwards.
One
I'm
game
missing
that you're
it.
missing from August is Hellblade. One of my
Yeah.
top 5.
I'm missing all digital games, so shout out digital games. Is there any Switch digital games I might have missed? Big hitters?
Wasn't August
In
Stardew
August?
Valley?
Yeah, probably.
Or was it later? When was Stardew Valley?
August, in August, you had Sonic Mania.
Oh yeah, that sounds.
Sonic
you
Mania
guys
was
forget
really
that.
good.
I gotta
Yeah,
look
so
up.
that's kind of like Switch's theme this year. They threw in a lot of smaller indie titles, but now we got like 3 big titles at the end of August. What time of the year it is? September. We got big hits like Knack 2,
Stop it.
and that's about
Huge
it.
game, dude. Huge game.
Stop.
That was
Oh,
a
I
game
didn't
that
play
my
that.
little brother actually got excited to play. So
Why not? I feel like
I mean,
they like it.
it was better than the first one. All right. So.
Yeah.
Well, the first game was basically a tech demo.
And then Destiny 2, one of my favorite games.
really good.
Talked for a lot of time on our podcast about Destiny
Yeah,
2.
that's
So if you
enough.
have any questions or concerns about Destiny, check out
Listen to
the multiple times that
several
Jeffrey has
episodes
gone on
named-
rants, both the good and the bad of Destiny 2.
And then even more ports. Also, we had Rayman Legends coming out on Switch, which was I enjoyed it on the Wii U. I didn't pick it up on the Switch, of course, but
Yeah, that was a
really
game from Ubisoft that was originally supposed to be a Wii U exclusive, like Zombie U was, and then because it didn't sell well on the Wii U, they ended up selling it on the other consoles. So
yep. Then
Where-
for the rest, well, what do you got?
We're in September, right?
Yeah, September. We have
So- Go ahead. Oh,
the NBA games. Was that what you're gonna jump on?
I was gonna say the big one, in my opinion, third party, was FIFA. It hit FIFA 18, which
yeah, that's
was I got it when like a week after it released, and it was missing was the
On Switch.
story.
It was
Campaign,
missing the
yeah,
journey.
Switch.
the journey. The gameplay good, and it ran really good. I was surprised that it ran really good.
It's FIFA on Switch. It runs really good. Like I was playing career mode the other day, and I like almost forgot I was playing it on Switch because like I'm so used to playing it on Xbox, and then I had like a Freudian slip where I pressed B thinking it was A because that's where A is on the Xbox controller, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I'm like holding the Switch controller. So it runs great. It just doesn't have the journey, which I didn't care about anyways. That and the servers aren't really populated for
the online,
play.
yeah, that's not.
They're not really
you're-
populated
if you're
just because
in
pro
there for the
FIFA players
online-
are playing on other consoles. But I play career mode anyways.
Yeah, content-wise, it's very reminiscent of what was happening in the beginning of the Wii U's life, where they were getting these ports that were not the same as the console port.
Oh no, it's the same exact game. It just doesn't have the journey, but it has
yeah.
every other mode. It's fully featured.
is it the same price?
yeah,
It was
of course.
$60. Yeah, I picked it up for $40, but yeah, I think it's $60.
But the difference, I think, is that the Switch has such a bigger install base from its better launch games compared to the Wii U. So hopefully EA will come back to the Switch. Also,
That's the other reason I picked up FIFA 18 is because we might not get a FIFA 19 on Switch.
you gotta support him. Also, what came out was Samus Returns, Metroid Samus Returns on the 3DS. A prime, wink, example of like when they're bringing like great games to the 3DS a little too late. When like I think you should be putting them somewhere else right now. But we've been asking for it forever, and we got it. Danganronpa 3 came out on PlayStation platforms, and and this month's hot Switch game was Pokken Tournament DX. Which was fun, which is a remake. So we had two of, like what I was saying before, every month has its own game. So two of them already remakes or ports. But Miguel, what do you have to say?
You're missing one for the Switch. That came out in September. Steam World Dig 2.
Oh,
That was September?
Yep,
It was
September 21st.
That's another one I just picked up from the holiday sale, and it's so fun.
Was that the release date or just the Switch release date?
The Switch release date.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
when it
Yeah,
came to
two.
Switch.
But yeah, that game's really fun.
Yeah, I played the first one, really enjoyed it. We talked about it earlier.
And SteamWorld
and
Heist
then
is coming out next month.
the
I think.
Ultimate
To
Edition.
Switch.
Yeah. Moving on to October now, rounding out to the end of the year. We got Forza 7 on Xbox. Still getting 3DS games no matter what with Mario and Luigi, Superstar Saga, and a Layton game. That's not gonna
I'm
die.
gonna stop you there real quick. The one that you missed again for September, there was, I think, kind of big on the Switch was Golf Story.
Oh yeah, I don't have digital games. You gotta jump in.
Yeah.
Golf Story was people love that.
So Stardew Valley was October because I remember Golf Story came out first, and I ended up I was going to get Golf Story, and then I was like, I got to get Stardew.
Back to October, we had
Nice.
a bunch of AAA titles: Middle Earth, Shadow Mordor, Evil Within 2 on PS4 and Xbox One, South Park: Fractured But Whole, Gran Turismo Sport, 2K18 coming to Switch a month late. Required a big patch. That's going to be a theme. Not
For
a patch.
NBA 2K18 or
yeah.
no NBA? I
Yeah.
thought NBA launched simultaneously.
No, not
WWE came out
not
way
physical.
late.
Not physical. I think that's what it was. I think it launched the same time
I could
digital.
have swore it came out around the same time.
The physical's a different release date. But either way, we're starting to see a trend of having to put some of the game's data on the memory card, which isn't the greatest. But
Yeah, wasn't there a thing earlier this week about obviously you would know, Jesse, with the
64 gigabyte cards coming out next year.
yeah.
for
I
no,
don't
that's
know.
for the actual game cartridges themselves, not like a SD card.
Yeah, so the publishers could put bigger size games. But I hear they don't even want that. There's currently a 32 gigabyte cartridge that they could put games on that they're not even doing that because it's just too expensive.
Yeah, the more memory the card has, the more the developers and publishers have to pay. So it makes
that-
sense for
that
them to
Switch
just
tax.
it makes sense for them to just get like an 8 gigabyte card and then have whatever's left install on the actual hard drive for the SD card, which I think it was a couple of years ago, the new Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5, the actual physical release for it just came with like the first level or something like that on the disc.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
So you would buy the game and you could play through the first level, and if you didn't have internet to download the rest of the game, that $60
literally got the
purchase was just like one level. So
That sucks.
It's actual insanity. And then we had Fire Emblem Warriors on both the Switch and the new Nintendo 3DS. I don't know what the story behind that is and how that came to be. That like, was it originally a 3DS game that they wanted to put on the Switch? Was it Switch first that they realized that they could be ported because it's probably using the Hyrule Warriors engine? I don't know.
I think it
Interesting
was
nonetheless.
just they had a lot of success with even the Wii U version of Hyrule Warriors did really well, and then they did the 3DS version of it later. And I think that trend of putting it on a home console that was more powerful and putting it on the 3DS, since they already had experience with both, they just went ahead and did it, which is what I wish Nintendo would have done with some of the other games like Metroid Samus Returns, is release it on the 3DS and then wait a month or two and release it on the Switch. I think that's what they did with Super Smash Brothers on the 3DS and Wii U, where they released the 3DS version and then later in the year the Wii U version. So
100% agree.
Yeah, I forgot they did that
Yeah.
with Smash.
And then still somehow in the year 2017 we had a Wii game, Just Dance 2018.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
yeah,
It always
that-
sells.
I think
so.
I read something that game had released on launch day for more consoles than any other game that's ever released, because it came to Wii U, Switch, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One. I
It
think.
came to straight up like two full
Okay.
generations.
Yeah, that's wild.
And rounding out October, one of the most insane days in media, possibly.
Yes, this was
For a
probably the
while.
biggest game of the year, or day of the year rather.
Mario Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Origins, and Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah.
So we all bought Mario. That was guaranteed
Yeah.
we were going to get that. I got Wolfenstein 2 for review, and then I ended up getting Origins. But then you guys, Anthony rented the two other ones besides Mario.
So
Miguel-
Mario's the clear
I
winner
bought
out
him.
of the three of that, obviously. But all three games are excellent. Did you play either the other two, Jesse? Because obviously you played Mario. So
I played a little bit of Origins. I thought about buying. The thing with Origins was I was planning on buying the Xbox One X. That way I could
Okay.
play it on a console, with it looking as best as it possibly could. But I ended up only playing a little bit of it on the PlayStation 4. But then with Wolfenstein 2, I think that game's also available for the Switch.
in
like it's-
February.
It will
coming out
be available in a couple
Yeah.
months. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah, so that's
I'm
interesting, though.
I'm waiting on the Switch version to play through it.
curious to see
interesting.
how it runs on Switch, because that
Yeah.
game is pretty demanding game. That game, that's a tale of two halves for me. Which if you go back and listen to, I'm sure it's like episode 28-ish, where the first half of we recorded a podcast when I had played like the first half, and I was like, I don't know, it's kind of dragging. I don't really like some of the dialogue, and then I beat this like I
Yeah,
did
I
the whole
remember that.
second half of the game like right after we recorded that day, and the next week I was like, yo, you need to play Wolfenstein 2. This game is awesome.
But yeah, Mario coming out in the end of October. A lot of people were kind of up in arms at the original January event, Switch event, that Mario wasn't coming at launch, and I mean, what do you guys think? If we had Zelda and Mario at launch, I think that would be too much.
It would have been too
honestly.
much.
Yeah, I think they would have killed each other.
Yeah.
I
So
think
good
that
we had a big space.
I mean,
kinda
I don't.
speculated that it would have been the other way around, but like before, I thought I was like Mario will be at launch, and then they'll give us Zelda later because there was rumors of
they-
production problems, all that stuff. And
Yeah.
They had to do Zelda just because they delayed it so much.
Yeah,
I-
Zelda's supposed to be a Wii U game a while ago.
I think the GameCube may be the last time a Nintendo console released without having a Mario game on day one, which the GameCube had Luigi's Mansion, so
Was
I'd be able to
Twilight
count that
Princess at launch for GameCube?
for the Wii.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was okay. I'm sorry. Was it?
No,
it
the
was
Wii
launched
never
for
had a Mario game.
It
at
was
launch.
out on Wii and GameCube, is what I was.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild did the same thing that Twilight Princess did, to where it
where
really,
it launched on both.
yeah.
That's
But
what I was
Twilight-
thinking. The Wii, not the GameCube.
Yeah, Twilight Princess, the Wii version came out a week before the GameCube version, so there was
Yeah, I remember
So-
that because
I
I remember
think
I had a
that was-
Wii and my friend had a GameCube, and she's like, "Why do I have to wait?"
that. Yeah,
Then
So,
moving it. Yeah. Go.
Wait, so I got Mario and I played it in like 3 days. Just beat the story, I guess. And I told, yeah, I just fucking.
Because people
Ooh,
kept
man,
on saying,
I
"Oh,
was-
the ending, don't
I'm
get that
sorry.
spoiled," so I had to
Yeah,
get into it. You know.
And so I think me and Jeffrey, right? We just
Yeah.
ran through it. I ran through it, and I told you guys that I couldn't stop smiling.
Yeah.
I was smiling through the whole game.
Yeah,
And-
especially New Donk City got me.
Oh, dude,
that
I was.
level. That's probably the best level of the entire year.
yeah.
I actually don't believe that I did the New Donk Festival level because I didn't know that was coming. Of course, I was surprised.
Okay.
On the F train, on
I
an
don't-
actual New Donk City train.
I
That was
don't
really
want
cool.
people to kill me in the comments, but I still
Okay.
haven't beat Mario Odyssey.
What?
Like beat the story, or the just completed like 100%.
I've only made it like halfway through the game.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
Why is that?
My
wondering.
my little brother, he comes and stays with me on the weekends.
Okay.
So whenever the game came out, he was kind of addicted to it. So I would let him borrow my Switch, and then when he comes over on the weekends to where I have my Switch here with me, I'm usually working or doing family stuff and everything. So like I have a daughter, and like when she's around, I'm watching her and can't really play a game, which the Switch is great for, because if you do want to play something, you can just kind of like put it down, pick it up whenever you need to, as opposed to like having to turn on a TV and everything. So Switch is great for that, but I just haven't had the time to play through it all, but I really like it. What did surprise me though was it's the first game, which he's 8. It's the very first game that he's beat all by himself, which he's
Really?
played through like Wind Waker and Breath of the Wild, but that was with help. With this, I'd let him borrow it when he went home on Sunday, and then when he came back the next Friday, I was like, "How far are you?" And he was like, "Oh, I beat it a few days ago." And I'm like, "He beat it before I did?"
Yeah, that's cool.
Something that game did for me, especially, it made me feel how I felt when I first started playing Mario and the NES for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It was just it's an amazing game overall. It's just period.
The only thing I think they messed up on was there was in the first commercial they released for the Switch, it had the woman, like it was all Mexico themed, and
Okay.
she was playing the Switch. She looked out the window and seen her friends on the rooftop. She went over and she was playing Mario, and she handed the Joy-Con to her friend. So I assumed this is them hinting that this game's going to have multiplayer. Like
Like
maybe you can play as
Co-op or
Mario.
something.
Yeah, and then second player can play as Luigi or someone. That's why she took off the Joy-Con so they could both play, and she was playing Mario. So I assumed it was going to be multiplayer. And then it turns out it does have multiplayer, it's just one person plays as a hat. So
Yeah, I never messed around with the Cappy co-op stuff. It was very weird. That it's very weird that they added that. I feel like that was specifically geared more towards like really young children, like dad's playing Mario, and oh hey, little
Mess around with the
3-year-old
hat.
Bobby,
Here you go.
yeah.
but
It's interesting
It felt
because-
very like that to me.
on the bright side, it does give them an easy way to have a sequel, because anytime that they come out with a great game, they're like, how can they one up this? Easy way to do it is, hey, it's Mario, but now it's actually 2-player instead of just the 1-player. So I think that's a great way for them to
wouldn't
make
that
it
be like
different
more?
enough.
Wouldn't
So-
it be that more like DLC instead of a sequel?
Well, kind of
No,
like what
I'm-
they
I'm
did with
saying, like, if
the
they-
new Super Luigi Bros or whatever. Remember when they did with the Wii U? There was new Super Mario Brothers U, and then they re-released it with the Luigi levels. You think you're talking more something like that?
Well, I may have not have been clear, so I apologize for that. But I was meaning like whenever they come out with the second one, like
Okay.
Super Mario Odyssey 2 or whatever it's going to be called, a lot of people would think, well, the first one was so great. How do you one up that? So instead of just it's the same game but with different worlds or different levels, if they added multiplayer, it would be that extra thing for it to stand out. Like a lot of people
Okay.
really loved Breath of the Wild, but it didn't have the traditional dungeons, yet it won Game of the Year and everyone gave it a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. So they're asking, well, how could they make a Zelda game better than this? And it's make Breath of the Wild, but with a different world, and instead of shrines, give back the traditional themed dungeons that everybody wanted. So,
That'd be
Okay.
exciting. Next
Yeah,
up, let's
here we
move
go.
into November. We had Call of Duty World War II, of course. Kind of sucks that it wasn't on Switch. Maybe next year's will be, just because last launch, console launch with the Wii U, there was
Black Ops 2 was on Wii U.
Black
right?
Ops 2 was on Wii U in 2012.
It's a bad game. They don't need it.
This was the
Fair
month
enough,
of the month of the loot box between Call of Duty
Oh,
and,
yes.
and the next one.
What also came out was Sonic Forces on all 3 systems, which is not a
Not
bad
the game
game.
I was alluding to.
Not a bad game. Top 100 on 3DS. We talked about that. Why isn't on the Switch? Mario Party would be perfect on the Switch. This is
Missed
such a
opportunity for me.
missed insanely. Then we saw Doom 2016 on Switch, which people are saying is amazing. I haven't gotten my hands on it, but I played Doom 1. I played whatever, and that was awesome. Rounding out the year, then we
Hey,
got
He's
Lego.
just gonna not even bring up the game that I mentioned.
Well, it's
He's getting there. He's
I'm
getting
on
there.
release date order.
thought
Lumo
it was-
came out to Switch. I don't even know what that is. Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 on all 3 platforms. I like seeing the 3 platforms. That should be the thing. We're seeing it.
wait, that
more.
game's on Switch?
Marvel Heroes 2, yeah.
Okay.
It is
Also
yep, I
on
saw
Switch,
it.
an odd surprise, LA Noire.
Heard it
on
runs really
Random-
well on Switch.
Random
Yep.
game to come out.
I don't think it really. It's I love LA Noire on the PS3, but I don't think it really fits itself to Switch because it's more of a you gotta set like an hour and a half for one case just because you have to like remember all the things.
Well, it gives you a reason to use the Switch as a home console for the people
Exactly,
that
yeah, so
think
that's
it's
a good
more
point.
portable. So.
Do you guys think that I'm sure you've talked about this, but with that
Mm-hmm.
being like Rockstar's first support on the Switch, do you think they will come out with a game like Grand Theft Auto 5 on the Switch? Because it wouldn't be able to run the PS4 PC versions, but there are the old gen
Yeah.
versions that was on the PS3 that they
I
could
get-
probably easily port over.
I could see ports of the older ones.
I can
can't.
see the campaign mode coming, but I could see like GTA 5 without GTA Online coming.
It's so crazy. It's also, I mean, you never know with Rockstar because why isn't Red Dead on Red Dead 2 on PC? Like the last game you did, GTA 5 was on PC. Like they haven't announced Red Dead 2 for PC, so I don't really know how they decide what games go where, but we'll see. Next up, 2 Skyrims, Tale of Two Cities.
Hold on, are we still in November?
Yeah, but December has nothing, so this is the end of it pretty much.
Okay, I just want to make sure you didn't miss Star Wars because Star Wars
It's
Battlefront 2
next.
is
It's
the one I was
next.
talking about.
Next. Give me a second.
It came out that late in the month.
Yeah, it did. That's why. It
I
was
don't know
barely
why I
on
thought it
sale.
came out early. Maybe I'm getting the release dates confused with Call of Duty.
So Skyrim VR. Anthony, did you start playing it or no?
Yes, I've played both Skyrim VR and Skyrim for Switch, and both rule and both should be Game of the Year.
Nice.
No.
But yeah, no, that's just really
Clearly
cool seeing.
Oh, one that you're missing that hit the Switch. It was Rocket League. Finally.
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks a little rough in portable mode, but it runs perfectly.
Okay.
Like as far as like it doesn't really drop any frames or anything.
Yeah, someone told me just last night actually that it runs at 60 frames in portable mode. Is that true?
Yeah, that's why the
Wow.
resolution's downgraded significantly in portable.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't play it for that anyways, so I play it for the gameplay. And on it docked, it looks pretty close to, I think it's 900p or whatever it is. So
We also saw Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and Minecraft on the DS. come on, why aren't
Minecraft
those?
on
I mean,
DS is
Minecraft
like,
is
why
on
wasn't that
Switch,
out
but
sooner?
like, yeah, why didn't that come out sooner? But let's get to it. Star Wars Battlefront 2 came out on PS4, Xbox One.
Okay. With Star Wars Battlefront 2, not to interrupt you, but
Yeah, go.
you guys mentioned loot crates earlier. Talking about all of the loot crate news, did you guys get any complaints from your fans? Because there was so
No.
much news coming out about it that every time we would mention it, that video would get half as many views as the others, and it's like, we're just talking about the news, we're not making it. So don't
I
hate
think
us.
The way we handled it was, I would kind of be
We
like,
did the Rumble.
yeah. Well, we actually had a separate episode, like
Bonus,
a
yeah.
dedicated bonus episode for that argument. And so I don't know if maybe that kind of affected that in like a positive way. Like people weren't like you said, where they're like, I don't want to listen to them complain about it. Even if you're just reporting on the news, they'll think of it as you talking about it. But I don't think we really talked about it that much. I think we brought it up when the whole first big thing came up, and then we all kind of were like, we'll report back on it, and then I played the game, and then I kind of gave my thoughts post playing the game, and then we kind of didn't really bring it up again after that.
We kind of stopped talking about, like, we said enough between, like, for the first 3 weeks of November.
Between that and Destiny, we talked
Yeah.
through it, but we didn't.
And Shadow of War and Call of Duty. Because Shadow of War had the whole loot box thing too, and Miguel and I both we came to the conclusion you don't need to buy.
You don't need it.
And
on
even
that game.
Star Wars Battlefront 2, I have everything unlocked, and I never felt the need that I never felt like I had to spend.
But
money to
that
get everything
wasn't the
unlocked.
problem with that game, though.
It's because its progression system
originally
was
it
based
was the
around
whole
it. So.
there's going to be other Darth Vaders killing me because I can't afford to get my Darth Vader, and they paid for it. And that wasn't. There was kind of a mixed. There was a miscommunication with what the there is an issue with Battlefront 2. Don't get me wrong, huge issue with the
game's
progression
bad.
in that game.
Yeah.
But it was being told as the wrong. Like they were saying they weren't saying what the real actual issue was. They were someone heard something from someone else who heard something from someone else, and they said it wrong. And then the whole internet blew up about it. And then a lot of people played the game like me, and I was like, I don't feel like I need to go buy stuff. Like, loot boxes being in the game in the first place is my problem.
mean-
but the fact that you can get them with in-game currency offsets it a little bit for me.
Yeah, I don't know if our audience thought we overkilled how much we talked about it, but if you do, let us know, our audience. And then moving on to the end of the year, we saw Doom VFR. I just realized this, that Bethesda did the same thing with Skyrim and Doom, that they put it on Switch and put it on VR at like the same time. That's pretty funny. And and rounding out the final big
Well, I got
game
another one before
that
you
we're
finish
talking
it up.
about is and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on Switch, which is huge.
Great game.
Yeah,
I got another one that hit the Switch that you missed.
hit me.
One of the best running games on the Switch.
Hot, nice, go.
WWE 2K18.
Oh, no. Oh,
Yeah, so,
It's literally, it runs in slow motion.
drastic opposite to FIFA's well-running.
Well, even NBA 2K
Or-
runs good on Switch, I think.
It
I
does,
think
yeah,
it's
Miguel has that.
specifically just
It runs
WWE
alright.
that runs bad.
That game is insane. I don't know how it runs that bad.
Yeah. And then when did Monster of the Deep Final Fantasy 15 come out? Because
This month,
that's
like
that's
a
an
week or two
awesome
ago?
VR game. I don't care what anyone says. It's dope. Being able to just fish with Noctis. For
you
me
know,
was
you
awesome.
could go actually outside and go fish.
But why would I do that when I can go to EOS and go fish with Noctis and Ignis?
Oh man!
Listen, man, anyone that listens to my podcast, if you're listening on Jesse's channel and you like Final Fantasy 15, come hang out with me.
I
And,
can
I'll talk to you
imagine
about Final Fantasy 15.
the call whenever they were calling back the voice actors to come and do the VR, or not the VR, but the DLC, and they're just like, yeah, what's the story going to be about? What's the big monster? What are we going to do? And they're like, no, you're going to go fishing. And they're like, what?
So what's the story with the fishing? You're just gonna catch fish, you know.
Yeah.
You know what it is about the fishing VR game for me is that they took arguably one of the weakest parts of the main game and turned it into a full game. It's like, did anyone ask for this? I don't think so, but they made it fun, at least to me. So I'm happy about it.
Yeah. I wish they could have done that with Majora's Mask on the 3DS, where the original game didn't even have fishing, but then in the remake for the 3DS, they added 2 separate fishing ponds. but it just wasn't fun. But with the
Oh, those are
Final
added?
Fantasy
I never played
15.
the original Majora's, but I played the 3D.
yeah, they Ocarina of Time had the original fishing pond, but then in
Oh, but then
Majora's
Majora
Mask
didn't.
it didn't have one, but they added two. So there's like two separate places to fish. And I thought it was odd because it didn't really go with the game. Like the world's ending in 3 days and you're gonna go
Right, like there was a reason it wasn't in the original version of the game.
Yeah. But with Final Fantasy, like I could go fish in that game. Like
It's so cool, man. I know I'm being a fanboy about it, but it's so fun. I
We
adore
haven't
that whole
noticed.
world.
We haven't noticed.
But just Final Fantasy
yeah.
15 in general had great post-game support too. People forget that came out last year. It came out in 2016, and it had so much support throughout the year. They just released a patch where you can like switch between the four party members, like
Isn't it coming?
like
Isn't
Dragon
it coming
Quest.
to Switch in the mobile version? Or
I think they said it might come to Pocket. They didn't announce it, but they're like maybe.
Oh yeah, I think it was like the director was doing an
Yeah.
interview with Twitch and was like, "Yeah, we're working on it with a console that rhymes with your name, which would be Switch and Twitch."
Oh yeah.
And then there was like another interview a week or two later where he said that he was joking about that, but then there was another interview where he said they were working with the people who made Unreal Engine to try to bring a port of the actual game, but an Unreal Engine to the Switch because that would be easier than porting their own original engine to the Switch. But then he came out and said that there were no plans, so he's been back and forth on it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna count on it.
Talking about what's
Okay.
coming, that has been 2017. Pretty good. Just looking up
I
on
got
the
2017. One more thing, real quick.
What do you got?
I'm surprised that you missed one of your favorite games that came out, and that I would
I
like
thought
to
about
see
that too,
on the
and you didn't
Switch.
bring it up.
I wonder why they haven't done it, but it's What Remains of Edith Finch. And
I was only looking at
yeah,
physical release.
and the second one, that it's just huge, and I wonder if the Switch we would be able to run it. It's Fortnite.
Ooh, Fortnite on Switch would be really cool. That'd be interesting on Switch.
Also, there's a game.
That's a question about, I feel like, network infrastructure.
Well, even just the PvE mode on Switch. Would
Also, talk about what I missed. I can't believe I've literally missed two of my top 5 games. Shovel Knight. I didn't buy it on Switch just because I owned it on like 3 other consoles, so I had to wait to play the Spectre of Torment
be
DLC.
same. I almost
but
bought it on
I-
Switch because I didn't want to wait,
Yeah.
but
I waited, played it on
it.
PS4. That is amazing. If you own a Switch or PS4, get that game. But any last thoughts on 2017? Because I just want to, I'll just say it quickly. And 2018 is looking pretty good itself. So far, just the beginning of the year, we're getting Shadow of the Colossus remake.
I can't wait for
Bayonetta
that.
2 on Switch, Wolfenstein on Switch, Payday 2 on Switch, Metal Gear Survive, Bravo Team, Ni no Kuni 2, God of War, Far Cry 5. 2018 is looking pretty hot compared to 2017.
A lot of PlayStation exclusives. Jesse, you were gonna say something before. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, with the 2017, I think it came out this month. There's a game called Blossom Tales. It's an indie game that is literally
It's pretty much Zelda, right?
yeah, it's a Link to the Past, but
Yeah.
for
Wait,
the
what's
Switch.
the name?
Blossom Tales?
I might get that.
Yeah, like it looks just like a Link to the Past. It has like the hearts and then like the 2 weapon slots up in the corner. It's literally a Link to the Past on Switch.
Oh, and another game that came out for Switch that's similar to a different game, like an homage, is Don't Stop Sneaking. Came out. It's basically like an homage to Metal Gear Solid 1. It's got the big, blocky, pixelated characters and stuff.
Oh, I
Wait.
didn't even hear about that game.
Isn't
It just came out.
when is Akami coming to PlayStation 4?
That
that
came
came
out
out
2
in
weeks
Okami
ago.
December.
came out.
It
Yeah.
came out this month.
Yeah, because I thought that was worth mentioning. That came out
How
originally.
does that not come out on Switch? Wasn't that a GameCube game?
PS2. And then
But it
it
was
went
on-
to the Wii.
Yeah,
it went to the Wii with the IGN watermark on the
I don't
box
know why I
art.
thought it was on GameCube. But that's
yeah.
that'd be cool to get on Switch too. Yeah, so let's kind of just
2017, one hell of a year for both PlayStation and Nintendo. Nintendo did some weird stuff with the mixing up where games belong. They weren't sure if Mario Party belongs on a Switch or 3DS. Belongs on the Switch, that's for sure.
yeah. So
A
I
lot
mean,
of digital games we
Jesse-
definitely missed because I was only looking at retails.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments below which digital games we missed.
Yeah, Jesse, what did you so? Because obviously your channel is predominantly Nintendo, but you do play other stuff. Obviously, you're
Yeah.
a gamer first, So, what do you think stood out on PlayStation?
On PlayStation, The only real game that I've been like going back to on the PlayStation is Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, my boy.
Really? Okay.
So like it was really good. Persona stands out as well.
That's the game that you're just gonna play forever because you can only like me. I only play it in like an hour to 2 hour chunks, so it's gonna last forever.
Yeah. Xbox. What was the name of it? I
Because on
forgot.
Xbox you got the
Cuphead.
cartoony game. Yeah, there you go. Cuphead.
Cuphead, excellent game.
It's
Yeah.
pretty much the bigger one in my
If-
opinion.
if
Other
Sony-
than PUBG, but
Yeah, if Xbox,
Yeah.
if Microsoft didn't lock down that exclusivity, I think that would be a perfect Switch game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it would look
uh,
so nice on that screen.
I forgot it, but Destiny 2 on the PS4 is really good. That's a game that I go to if I just want to play for like 10 or 15 minutes. So,
What game,
Okay.
PlayStation game, would you play? Would you have played more this year if it was on Switch?
Destiny or Final Fantasy.
Nice.
Like,
Fair enough, fair
I
enough.
don't think they could possibly run on the Switch, but if they could, it would be amazing. So,
My original dream for the Vita was like when it was announced, like, whoa, console quality games. I could play because that was when I was huge into Black Ops 1. Like I could play zombies on the go.
And then Black
And
Ops
then-
Declassified came
Black
out
Ops
and
Declassified
squashed
came out,
all
I
your
cried.
dreams. Yeah, coming from it's interesting coming from our perspective because we're Sony. Well, Jeffrey's always been a Nintendo guy. He thinks he likes PlayStation, but I'm kidding. But for me, like I'm a huge Vita guy. I just bought an import blue Vita because my other Vita, is not working anymore. But the Switch really, it's a portable console for me. I mean, I play it more on TV now that I have the Pro Controller, but it really is basically a Vita 2 for me, and I love it. I love that the eShop is finally getting filled out. I know it sounds silly. Miguel breaks my balls because I bought Skyrim 4 times, I think, at this point. But Skyrim on Switch is so... It's... When I first started playing Skyrim on Switch, it was really... and even Zelda, I guess, would really be the first time where... Like, you're playing console quality games on something that's this thick. And
Yeah.
so for me, the Switch is just so awesome. I think the Switch, looking back at 2017, Switch is probably the highlight of the year in a broad sense. But just the fact that we got a new Nintendo console. We don't think of Nintendo as are they just gonna publish games now and stop making hardware? Are they gonna go to Xbox and PlayStation? We don't. That's all gone with the Switch. Like the Switch did that. So I think that's probably my biggest takeaway from 2017. Outside of like we got amazing games like Zelda and Horizon, all these games. But
Well,
I
to
think the
counter
Switch
that, I mean, your most played game so far, we didn't even talk about Nintendo's iOS games with Fire Emblem Heroes and Animal Crossing Pocket Leaf.
I don't know if I'm gonna get all the
Mario
all
Run
the
also at the end of last
New
year.
Year's events.
We should round up. Round up. That's not the word. The hell? I don't know what I'm thinking. That their iOS games are kind of serving as like advertisements for their Switch games. So
I did want to go back
Basically.
and play New Leaf while playing Pocket Camp. So, what do you think about the mobile games for Nintendo, Jesse?
I think they didn't do what people were expecting with the Mario Run game, but it's good enough, simple enough to where like he's constantly running. You just tap the button. So I thought that was a bit odd, but it's a way to make it stand out from other games where it's just an endless runner. And then with Animal Crossing, there's a lot of people that I've been talking to that really love it. And then they didn't really have too much to do with the Pokemon Go, but when people think Pokemon, they still think Nintendo. So
Yeah, because that mostly was Niantic and Game Freak, right?
yeah,
Or the Pokemon company now.
and then Nintendo just released like a little toy or something that went with it that you could press and go into a thing to like get a Pokemon or something. I don't know. It was weird. It was like a little tracker thing, but so far, I think what could have helped them out is if, let's say, in Mario Run, you play through it for like once you pass the hour mark of that game, it'll pop up and be like, oh, if you were enjoying Mario Run, maybe you would enjoy the real Super Mario Odyssey on the Nintendo Switch. Here's 10% off.
What I thought would have been cool, which was just a total missed opportunity, which they could even go back and do now, is you link it to your Nintendo account, like your My Nintendo account. Just give me an outfit. Like I beat I beat World 1-5 or whatever for Super Mario Run. Oh, now I get an outfit that I can redeem in Super Mario Odyssey. And
I mean,
it's
it
weird
works
they
the
didn't
other
do
way,
that.
where when Odyssey came out, there was Mario Run content, which was like...
But it wasn't a direct link. It was more like
developing
a
who
special
here?
event type thing.
No,
And
but it's
same,
like
same with like
the console games never even talk about the iOS games.
well, yeah,
Whereas,
so that's why I was saying I think it would have been the other way around. So
Yeah, no.
I don't
that'd
know.
be good.
So, but yeah, overall, 2017, awesome year for games. I think we stand a house divided here, 2-2, on whether Horizon Zero Dawn or Legend of Zelda is game of the year.
Well,
But-
I'm
but
saying Zelda's
I would say
better than
play both if
Horizon.
you can.
I say Mario's game of the year for me.
Really? See, that's spoilers
yeah.
because next week is our game of the year talk.
I'm not going to bring up Mario.
True.
That's
I-
only,
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
yeah.
Forgot we're a PlayStation podcast for a second.
Honestly, I was thinking about my top 5. It's something like Mario, Zelda, PUBG, Lost Legacy, and What Remains.
That's such an interesting
Actually, no, wait.
top
Wait,
five,
did I not say Destiny? Take out Uncharted, Destiny.
No, you can't take that back, dude.
Okay, so we're going to start wrapping up now. But Jesse, because we're going to be doing our top games next week, but just off the top of your head, I mean, in no particular order, what would you say your top 5 games of this year were? You could do only Switch, you can do only PlayStation, you could do both, whatever you want, or Xbox.
Breath of the Wild, Uncharted 4. That came out this year?
No,
That was
last
2016.
All right, because I played a lot of it this year. Okay, so
Okay.
Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Horizon, Destiny 2,
Really? Okay.
and
year. Miguel has a vendetta against Destiny too.
let's see here. What's worthy of the 5th spot? I would say either Mario Rabbids or
Nice. Okay.
A lot of
Xenoblade.
people's top games.
You know they fixed the difficulty spike. Jesse, I don't know if you counted that when you
I didn't
played,
even
but in
know
World
they fixed
2,
it.
there's one level that just ramps up and makes no sense why it's so hard. And then I read the patch notes recently, and it's like addresses in World 2, whatever, difficulty doesn't match the rest of the game. Like, oh, interesting. Because that was like the one complaint I had for the game. That's like, it makes no sense why it just gets insanely hard.
Yeah, but for the 5th game, I would say Mario Rabbids or Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Because with Xenoblade, I think it rivals any of the best RPGs on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or PC. And to think that it's just a Switch exclusive, which I didn't even know this. I thought it was just Xenoblade X and then Xenoblade 2. But when I was doing research for my review of Xenoblade 2, I found out that it's a part of the Xeno series,
Xenosaga.
which dates back all the way to like the PlayStation 2. So
Yeah, there's too
This-
many in that series.
yeah.
for me to-
this
I mean, they're all
entire
unrelated.
time,
It's like Final Fantasy, but yeah.
yeah, this entire time I just thought it was, oh, it's Xenoblade, a Nintendo third-party exclusive or whatever. But no, it's like it dates back 10, 15 years or whatever.
So if you're ranking it that highly in RPGs, I think I might have to give it a shake then, because
Yeah.
I've been I've been eyeing it in the eShop, so I might have to give it a shot soon. So, all right, well, this is gonna wrap up our year in review. I know Jeffrey kind of trucked along, but I hope you enjoyed the bits of insight we were able to give. I want to thank.
Should I have gone slower for the 1 hour and 15?
Oh yeah, this is.
Episode.
I think this will end up being just the show for this week, and we'll just do a rigmarole. But yeah, so thanks again, Jesse. I'm really glad we were able to finally get something together. I know
Thank
we
you.
tried making something happen a while ago, and then I think we all kind of had conflicting schedules. So glad we got it to happen. We'd love to have you back if you're ever willing, and maybe we could do something like this next year. At the end of the year.
Yeah, it was really fun to be a part of it. I like going on new podcasts just to like get the behind the scene experience on like how it all goes and like the structure of it and everything. So
Yeah, we
You want more behind the scenes? After this, I upload a couple of files to Google Drive, then send the link to Anthony, and then say "good?" ? And he says, "I'll check tomorrow."
Well,
that's
like,
exactly how it goes.
It's more of the behind the scenes, yeah.
yeah. With my podcast, like it always comes down to like strange technical difficulties that I never seen coming, or like something during the process messes up. Like it wouldn't be an actual podcast if something didn't go wrong. So
yeah, we know all
learning
about that.
yeah,
There
so
was-
learning from other people, it helps like my process.
Yeah, when we first started, we had all kinds of issues where I was recording the audio through OBS and then extracting the audio from a video file and then
Yeah.
having to split the channel. It was terrible. So we we can maybe
That was
once we're off air, maybe we can share some tips with each other for recording stuff. But yeah, so this is gonna wrap up our very special edition of PS Best Friends, episode 32. I guess this is just gonna be. Thanks again, Jesse McCarty, YouTube's GameOverJesse. Go check him out on YouTube. I'm gonna assume you have a custom URL because you have a whole lot of subscribers.
Yeah. Yesterday I just passed 50,000, so excited.
Nice, congrats, man.
Nice. I know you were hovering there past couple of days, so I was hoping you got there. So yeah, so go subscribe, get him to 100,000.
Yeah, that would be a miracle.
So you get there one day. We won't, but you will. So
We'll get to 100 maybe.
yeah, so go check him out on YouTube. Also,
Or if you're
anywhere
watching
else-
us, or you're watching
anything
this
else you
video
got to
on
plug?
his channel, go check us out on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
everyone.
don't have a custom URL, so just Google, search in the search bar PS Best Friends.
Yeah, so because I'm sure the people watching on your channel already knows where to find you guys on Facebook or Twitter, YouTube, whatever. But for the people on my channel, where could they find you guys on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch,
So we
whatever
have-
else you guys do?
We have a Facebook group that we actually have a bunch of really dedicated hardcore fans, best friends, if you will, that contribute every week, give us questions and everything. So if anyone wants to join in there, just hop right in. It's facebook.com/groups/PS Best Friends. And we'll hook you right up. You can jump right in, join the conversation. We want it. We really
Shout out to
encourage
some
conversation
awesome
there.
members: Jivesh, Jake, Nathaniel, Nathan. What up?
Yeah, and then Twitter is @PSBF Podcast. Miguel's really been kind of trying to get a lot more active on there. So if you want to follow us on
trying. Yeah.
there, so give us a follow on there. And if you have any, I mean, we have an email. I don't know why you would really want to email us, but if you want to email us for some reason, if you're not on Facebook, I know people that aren't on Facebook or Twitter, like former guests of the show and my coworker Henry. He's not on anything. So if you want to email us questions or anything of that matter, it's psbestfriendspod@gmail.com. And for our channel, where can people find you outside of YouTube?
Twitter, Facebook, everything /GameOverJesse. I got really lucky whenever it came
And
to
that's and
that.
how you spell
Nice.
Jesse Fur?
JESSE. So, yeah. And then I also have a Discord that has a lot of subscribers and Zelda fans in it. I think we're getting close to like 800 members on Discord. So
Nice.
excited about that as well. I've been trying to get like the Discord verified or whatever, where you partner with them. They send you like a custom jacket or something, and like it helps out your Discord a lot. And I've been trying to get that, but apparently I don't make the qualifications just yet.
Well, go join that if you're listening on our channel. Let's help get them there. We had a Discord channel for like a week, and then we're like, this isn't the route to
We
go.
had a Discord channel, but I don't know, it was one of you guys thought that's how you made a group chat, and we used it as a group chat for a minute. Or I don't know, because it was just us
yeah,
three.
I don't know.
Either way.
So thanks again for tuning in.
Thank you.
We're actually going to do game time next. So if you're listening on the audio version or on our YouTube channel, just keep listening, and that'll pop right on. Welcome back, guys, if you are watching on YouTube, and if you're listening on audio. So we had a lot of fun talking with Jesse. Let us know what you think about our kind of roundtable discussion for the year in review. But now it is time for the end of the year final edition of Game Time.
Woo!
So we're gonna do a
So
little
I'm
different.
winning.
You
So I'm
are
winning
winning. Miguel
4-2.
is winning 4-2.
And because
So
we
missed-
didn't
So I'm
record
winning.
last week,
Hang on.
'cause people-
That's how you started off.
All right, you're biased. You're mad. We get it. So
this goes-
we missed an episode on, I believe.
so if I lose,
What week did we miss?
It's
we,
bullshit.
week 30, we had no game time. So we are making up that week, and Miguel's mad about it because we're making a week up. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 rounds. Now, Jeffrey has to win out to win the overall year. Miguel needs to win once. I guess that's how that works. So we'll do
No
all 3 rounds
chance
anyways, just because
in hell.
I'm just curious to see what, what you guys are going to guess for these scores. But if Miguel wins the first round, the winner is declared. We're just going to do the rest for fun. So if you are new to PS Best Friends, we're sorry that this episode seems like kind of like a mess. So what game time is I look up 5 games on Metacritic. I go by their PlayStation respective score. I will specify Vita or PlayStation 4 or PS3 if there are multiple versions. And so these 2 knuckleheads have to guess what the Metacritic score is. Now, if there's kind of a weird way that Jeffrey has gone back and forth on what he likes and not likes about going first and second. We'll let you kind of figure out what he thinks on that. So the first game for round 1. Now, this is going to be Game Time 2017 edition. Side note, if you have a better name for Game Time, let us know and we will change the name because Game Time is a bad name for a time to play games. 2017 edition, round
Maybe
number
something with the
1.
name- with the word
Jeffrey goes
score in it.
first all 3 times because that's the rule that Miguel set for allowing the makeup of episode 30. Game number 1. Destiny 2, Curse of Osiris.
Oh, it's so bullshit. A fucking DLC.
Okay.
You can't.
I
put
see. I
goddamn
knew you were going to say that,
DLC.
and that's why I wrote down Destiny 2 Vanilla. Because I knew you were going to
Bullshit. You can't put Destiny 2 on the list.
and we're saying
No, hold
the
on. Wait.
PS Vita version, right?
The PS4 version of Destiny 2. If you're going to throw a stink about fucking Curse
No,
of
I'm not throwing.
Osiris.
I'm not throwing down a stick. You're the ref. Is it Curse of Osiris or Destiny 2? I'm okay with either.
It's Destiny 2, right?
Are you okay with doing Curse of Osiris, Miguel?
Okay, yeah,
or
yeah.
do you want...
Curse of Osiris
2 proper.
we're doing Curse of Osiris. Curse of Osiris got a 74.
Miguel?
Curse of Osiris. That's the DLC, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the DLC.
I heard it wasn't good, and I'm glad I didn't get the DLC. You said what? 70 what?
70.
70. Oh man, you're like right in that edge. I'm going 60. Fuck it.
That was a 56.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
56.
Wow.
1 to Miguel. Jeffrey's in a hole early. 2017 edition, game number 2, Everybody's Golf for PlayStation 4.
Oh, nice.
Am I still going first or Miguel goes first?
That's your call.
I'll go first, whatever.
Everybody's go.
On the PS Vita. Okay, let's see.
No,
No,
PS4.
PS4.
I know I'm messing with
Oh,
you guys.
I can't tell when you're messing with us enough.
I know your review good. I think. I don't remember. I'm gonna say 78. Why not?
Jeffrey?
80.
Not looking good for you, Jeff. 77.
Oh,
All right, good
I
to know.
thought-
Good to know. You buy
I
77
went
games,
low. I
Anthony.
went low because I thought it was gonna be higher. I thought it was like in the mid.
I know. I thought that was well received.
77's good. That's a good score.
Oh, I mean, I know
77
it
is
but I'm just saying.
trash garbage. If it's not 90 or
Nah.
above, I don't.
You're
touch
trash
it.
garbage at this game.
touch it.
Next game, 2017 edition, Nier Automata.
Oh,
Ooh, that's an 89, and everyone knows that.
you said
I thought
what?
we did that one last week. Or 2
I
weeks
thought
ago.
we did,
I don't know.
but I looked it up and we didn't.
So it's near, right? You said
Nier
89.
Automata.
Automata, not the first one. The first one was terrible. Or I mean, reviews wise, I haven't played.
There's like random people that will be like, "Ooh, it's great," and like you never heard.
People
of it.
say it's
like
awesome,
one
but
dog
all I
break.
know about it is Justin McElroy's video on
not-
joystick
I'm sure
of
it's
him
not
trying
in the
to fish.
90s.
and not working.
It's either like 90 or. Oh, man.
Jeffrey, what did you say?
I'm gonna go. You said
89.
89, right? 89.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Oh man, like I could see it being higher than 80. I could see exactly at 89.
Go. So
That's
do
the
90.
thing.
Do
80,
1 point over.
80.
the
I'm
next
gonna
one.
go one lower. 88.
It's 88.
It's 88.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is it? I don't know. It is.
I
Yeah.
did this whole
Is it?
thing with the rounds and everything, and Miguel just wipes the floor with you. 88.
I felt like it's 88. Yeah, I felt like it was
88.
88. And right after I said 89.
All right, next game. So the rest of this is just for fun now because you fucked it up. The next game, Neo.
Neo.
Neo 93.
Oh, there's no way that's a 93, dude.
Wait, save these games for next time. No.
No, this is all 2017 edition stuff, so we're doing it now.
So next week we're only doing games that came out in 2018.
We're not doing game time next week. Or I'll do. Don't worry about it. I'll figure out what's next week's. Don't worry about it.
Wait, we've been doing games not in 2017 though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This week I picked all games that are in 2017.
All right.
Usually I
You
don't
said
do
what?
anything.
90?
Yeah.
You said?
What?
You said
Neo's
90?
91 or something? What did I say? 91? Yeah.
I said like
93.
93,
No, 91. 91. I said.
I go 90. Just
88,
really.
Oh, wow.
2 88s in a row.
Interesting.
And the final game for round 1 of 2017 edition, Injustice 2.
Ooh, that's an 86. Everyone knows that.
Wow, really?
Everyone knows that.
It's either higher. I think it's higher, dude. I thought it was closer to like 90s.
Fighting game can't get that high.
Yeah, dude. 88. I'm gonna say 88 because you like
Ooh,
going
so
88.
we have a pickle here because it is an 87.
It's
really in the
nice.
middle. Okay.
Nice.
I mean, I
think
already
win,
watched
I
it, who
win the whole
cares?
year from that, right? I think I win the whole year.
So I guess we'll just call that one a draw. Round 2. These are my picks, Anthony's picks of 2017.
Okay.
First game, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim VR.
Oh, I guess I'll go first.
Yeah.
That's like 80.
No, it's a hard 78.
Wow, 77. Good guess.
Nice. All right.
Next game, Monster of the Deep Final Fantasy 15 VR.
Ooh, I actually haven't even seen a review for that. How many reviews are there?
There weren't a lot. I think there was like 5.
Some whack ass sites. 72.
So you really like it?
I like
That means
I
that
like
means that it's not good.
Yeah, probably terrible.
So
Where's
I
the
go
review?
65.
66.
Wow,
Really?
really?
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Weak.
I like it. And no one else likes it. I like it.
That's why it went low. Because
Did any big sites review that?
I don't remember what reviewed it or what didn't.
Yeah, because it just came out, right? Like 2 weeks ago or something like
Yeah,
that.
a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Third game on Anthony's 2017 picks, The Flame in the Flood.
PS4
That's
version.
the PS4 or the
PlayStation 4. It's not on Vita. It's on
Uh,
Switch, but not on Vita.
Huh.
76.
I have no clue, dude.
And we should have did this
80?
round first. 76
80?
on the dot.
Nice.
Oh, nice. All right.
Should have did this round first. Jeffrey would have had a fighting chance. Fourth game on Anthony's 2017 picks, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Oh, that's everyone knows, dude. 85.
No, it's a hard 90.
86.
Really? Okay.
2-2 for this round. As if it
Let's have
means
this the
anything.
last round, by the way, because I'm going to shit my pants.
No, we got the next round is great. So you need to
I do
You need
fast.
to
Let's
hold
go.
your shit. You need to hold your poops. Final game on Anthony's picks for 2017, Persona 5.
Percent 5, 90. I'm pretty sure I saw that in 90.
95.
93. So another
Nice.
another draw.
Pretty sure I saw that at 90.
Dude, I checked it like 4 hours
No,
ago.
I'm saying, like, me saying that based off of nothing.
Oh. All right, and then round 3, the final round of game time for 2017. That means nothing, but we're going to do it anyways because it's going to be fun. 2017 Vita edition.
Huh.
Okay.
First game.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I
any of
hope you
these
guys
things.
did your research because I didn't know any of these even
I
had
mean, you
scores.
said no, so we couldn't.
If you mispronounce it, though, then I win the whole thing.
The first game, Fate Extella, the Umbral Star.
Oh, well, you
And
know,
if
the
you're a
first
longtime
Phoenix
PS
Star,
Best Friends
that's
listener, you
great.
know that I played this on Vita and got really confused and sent it back.
That's a 67.
Wow. It's a 67.
Okay, so there's no point. Really? Okay.
I know my Vita games.
Next, no, shut up. Game number 2, 2017 Vita Edition, Danganronpa V3, Killing Harmony.
79.
80.
80 on the dot.
Nice.
Nice.
1-1 on the Vita Edition. The winner of this is the expert at Vita games, and the other person doesn't. They should just sell their Vita.
Eat their Vita.
Eat it on camera. That might get some views. Third game, Dynasty Warriors, Godseekers.
Is it Dynasty Warriors games on Vita?
Dynasty Warriors game that came out this year. There was
Is it good?
Dynasty Warriors
Oh,
Next came
was
out
there a
at
launch title?
Yep,
One of
Dynasty
the
Warriors
launch
Next.
titles was
I have it.
Um,
Dynasty Warriors, Godseekers.
Godseekers. You know, Godseekers, the conservatives didn't really like that name in the title, so they probably lowered it.
This game got 2 different scores for the Vita and PS4 version.
really?
If that helps.
That's usually the case.
75? I don't know.
No,
different
I bet.
enough.
69.
62.
Ooh.
Really? What was the PS4 version?
I don't remember, but it was, I think, 74 maybe.
Oh,
I think it might have ran bad on Vita. All right, this is the one that I'm going to have trouble with. Utawara Rumono, Mask of Deception.
I visualized that name in my head. I'm like, oh, I bet he's gonna ask this one.
If you're a longtime listener of PS Best Friends, you remember us
Yeah.
trying to pronounce this like a long time
I was on the drop
ago
a couple
on the
months
dock.
ago.
On the drop
Am I
in.
too close to the mic?
Hmm.
That's a
69.
yeah. I just did 69. No, Utaraga. No one likes that. That's a 65.
That is an 8-0.
Oh wow.
80?
Yeah.
I do like it.
Wow.
I was gonna do that Valhalla game. Didn't have a score for Vita. A lot of games didn't get Vita reviews. So the final game
Such is
of
life.
such is life. Such as the Vita is
Don't
dying.
get it, they
Please
don't,
save it.
you know?
The final game for the 2017 Vita Edition, Round 3, and the final game of Game Time 2017 is Tokyo Xanadu.
What the fuck?
It's a 72.
Told you this Round 3 was going to be hard.
Oh, dude,
Did you just rip ass?
Huh, you heard that? I'm go. I checked the. I checked the
I
sound
thought it was
levels.
Miguel because the face he made.
I checked
forgot
the
you had
levels
to
on
poop.
Premiere to like. Is that picked up? On
70. I don't know.
What did you say, Jeffrey? 72?
yeah, whichever one's closer.
Yeah, it's 74.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
nice.
And the 2017 champion, by
win the
default,
Vita.
basically,
I
was
won the
Miguel.
Vita,
Hey,
You
yeah,
won.
no
You won the
chance.
Vita. Did you win the round 2? I don't remember my picks.
though.
Who cares?
I
Miguel
Vita.
won the
That's all
year.
that matters. I
We'll
won the
see you
Vita.
next year.
I know. I won the Vita.
Game Time will be back
So,
next year,
where
hopefully
it
with a
counts.
better name. Miguel
Keep
is
a
the
look.
champion.
Yo, this
Jeffrey's
is
gonna
almost
eat
a
his
2-hour
Vita.
episode.
He's gonna cook it.
Let's wrap
Yeah.
it.
If you like long episodes, then I'm glad we gave you a long episode. If you don't like long episodes, I am sorry. We never go this long. Anyways, this has been PS Best Friends episode 33. For any questions, comments, and concerns, email us at psbestfriendspod@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter at PSBF Podcast. You can also hop in the Facebook group, give us questions for the episode, suggest things that we should play, all that good crap. Facebook.com/groups/PSBestFriends. And also, remember to give us a 5-star rating on your podcast app of choice. Write your written review. Let us know what your game of the year is for 2017, and we will read it on next week's episode.
Give us your top 5 real quick.
You do top 5, or you could do your overall game of the year. Whatever you want, we will read it on the first episode of 2018. I can't believe it's almost 2018. And also, please go check out and subscribe PS Best Friends on YouTube. Miguel just posted a video for his take on where he thinks the Battle Royale craze should go next. And Miguel, where can people find you?
They can find me at PSN, Dark Angel 1010.
And Jeffrey?
You can find me on PSN, Brawl96. This kid just kept adding me to a party today, and I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "I want to play Call of Duty with someone." I'm like, "Are you on my friends list?" I go, "He's not on my friends list." I don't know where the hell he found my name from. If you're a listener to this, let me know that next time. Don't just say you're a kid looking to play Call of Duty with someone. And you can find me everywhere else: Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Mr. Brawl96.
And you can
that
find me
chest hair,
on
bro.
PSN, the only X188. Also, don't forget to go check out GameOverJesse on YouTube. This has been the PS Best Friends Podcast, episode 33, the final episode of 2017. I can't stop laughing at Jeffrey's poop face. We will catch you all next year.
Question of the episode: shit your pants or nah?